You know what? You're perfectly fine. I'm simply going to skip the other song that usually plays when we start stream. Hi, Raiders, welcome in. Thank you so much. Hello, hello. I'm new. I like the color pink, visual novels, and JRPGs, and we were kind of in the process of starting to play 999 tonight. Not in the sense in that we're starting the game, but tonight's stream is going to be 999. Can you tell that I haven't streamed in over a week and I've lost any and all coherence? Hi, thank you so much for the raid. I hope you enjoyed. Oh, nice. I hope you enjoyed Somnium Files. You can't buffer pets if you cut the intro short. Well, you simply have to suffer with me. On this Rare Monday stream, where also my Wi-Fi is apparently cutting out, on this Rare Monday stream, we're doing a stream. Wait, that doesn't make sense. On this Rare Monday. No, Monday is every week. Let me try this again. Hi, I hope you all had a lovely weekend. I sure wish my weekend had been longer. I need to talk about a few, also, oh my god, so sorry. Thank you to Puffberry. Thank you for following. I'm sorry, I don't think I said thank you yet. I have to do a few organization thingies. First, streams will still be very sporadic. Is sporadic a word in English, actually? No, I'm unsure. I won't be able to return to any kind of semblance of a proper schedule until like the middle of May, probably. It is a word. Okay, thank you. So I'm not so sure anymore. I haven't talked a lot of English lately because, you know, I haven't been streaming much. So honestly, I can feel my knowledge of the language receding. It's so bad, you know. But yeah, we're doing a Rare Monday stream because I have the time. And also I have another job interview tomorrow and I need to somehow stave off the anxiety that comes with that. So I told myself, you know what, let's just do a stream so I cannot think about real life things for a little bit. So I'll have to focus on the game. Also, we've gotten relatively far with 999. We can now, or more like we are going to take our steps into the true ending route. I don't think we're actually going to finish it tonight because that is still quite a way to go. And there are quite a few things to get still, but we have unlocked everything we need to get to the true ending. So, begone by thoughts, yeah. No, I do look forward to it, but I haven't. I was like, yay, job interview, you! But I don't know what to say. I want it to be over. No matter what happens, I just want it to be over. But yeah, let's play fun little escapey games so I can escape my thoughts. And also, in terms of the middle of May, I'm hoping for the middle of May because I will be moving again. Also in May. But assuming that move should go over relatively quickly, I should also be able to stream shortly thereafter again. And I then wish to continue or to return to an actual like schedule where we put our, I don't know, 2 to 3 games a week on the list again. I have not forgotten about Like a Dragon, Infinite Wealth. I have not forgotten about it. I've also tried to do a little bit of leveling off screen. So that one should go better. Yeah, it it wants to be finished this year. I also no. I also want to finish it this year. So that should go better, I think. Big things in motion. Yeah. I want my life to return to a sense of normalcy? Normality? No, normalcy. Normalcy? I will also return to learning the English language, I guess. Jesus Christ. But yeah, as soon as that move is done, we'll also have to see how well streaming is gonna work there. Like I'm assuming I'm gonna sound different. Also, I hope my poor internet is going to be fast enough for me to be streaming, so that's gonna be fun. Yeah. Yeah, okay, we're back on the adventure screen. Why does that happen every single time? Why are we here? Why did I say, why did I come back here last time? So we can go and go our proper way. We still have not been here. Which door is this? Oh yeah, the number 7 door. We do actually, on our way to the true ending, there's one room we have never actually seen. So it's gonna take us a while to get there. Okay. Okay, gotcha. Gotcha. I know what I'm doing. For now, I'm going to skip all of the text we've already seen. We are going to go into door number 4. We want to go to door number 4. Oh my god. That is not something new. We have been to door number 4 several times. I assume... I know I didn't stream for quick. What was I doing? I should do that, actually. There was a time when I did. But to be fair, I also... back then, I also streamed more regularly, so I didn't have the same problem as much because, you know, it would just be like, oh, okay, we did this 2 days ago, whatever. But my brain has been in constant overload these past 3 months. Like, not to sound like a downer, but it mostly was just like, okay, I somehow made it through a day. And I'm putting like 98% of that on my job. Which I finally quit, but obviously it's not just oh, you say you quit and then you're out of there thing. So I still have a bunch of time left to sit through, and that's what's currently pretty much fucking up my remaining bits of free time. But we're gonna do it. We're gonna do it, and then we're gonna return to more streaming times. And I cannot... Can I go to the flowchart from here? I should be able to. I don't want to do the entire room again. I have these unlocked. So I think I should be able to jump, right? I should be able to just make the jump to here. I'm not sure. You want to say new cute? That is all. That is very nice of you to say. Also, hi, good evening. I need to see the events. You're telling me I need to go through the entire room again? Okay. Okay. Let's speedrun these rooms that we've seen before. We have seen this event before. Goodbye. Okay. Oh god. Sure is. We would like the map from the wall. Thank you. We are aware that this is a map. We don't need that text. It's a good thing we've read all of this before, so we're simply going to ignore all of that. Good. There comes a sign surprising no one. Thank you. This is what I'd like. Give me this key. Thank you. And let's get out of here. Nope, nope, no, no. Let's get out of here. Immediately walks back in. You can't believe we're not on the actual Titanic? Yeah. Crazy, right? I thought we were all the way. On the floor. On the seabed. Okay, let's see. I would like to combine. No. Yes. Thank you. Now we have a lit candle, and then we can light this place up. And then use just the key to open this and plate. And then oh, nope, nope. This curtain. Then it's like, oh my god, it's suddenly gotten dark. Blah blah blah. Candlestick gives us a key. There we go. And then get out of here and open this. I know. Open this up. Another plate. Yeah, and then his whole shtick about how he doesn't like luck. I mean, yeah, it's fine. I don't mind doing them again. It's just, it always sucks a little bit when it's like, oh, I mean, I've already gotten these before. But whatever, it's fine. Bathroom. Oh, yeah, I should use the right item. And then pull this close. Oh my god. No. Get out of there. No. No. Ah! This is the hole. Fifth from the top, third from the right. Thank you very much. Yep. Yeah. There we go. And out of the very weird situation of being stuck in a bathroom with that kind of... And putting all of these in there and turning this into a dog. There we go. And get another key. And skip the text we've seen before. Oh man, I love reading, they say. Not reading a single thing. It is a dog. Oh god. Yeah, this means we have to... Wait, but I've seen the event now. Shouldn't I technically be able to jump ahead now? Better not risk it, I guess. Alright, we have the key. Let's get out of here. Good! Speedrunning the escape rooms. Why is my Wi-Fi so bad? only need to trigger the event. That would be nice. I mean, this looks exactly the same as before, so are you sure I really need to actively see it again? Why does it say I'm missing one here? Oh no. Okay, well, just in case, let's do the kitchen again. The kitchen gave me a bunch of trouble last time. Okay. Blah, 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 blah. A sink with water in it and the whetstone. Without replay, it all does retrigger the accident. Oh, really? Okay, well, that's good to know. I mean, sure, it makes sense that you'd have to collect everything on the one run where you try to get through it all, but still. Okay, right, which one of these was the... This one is the pantry door. This time, I will also find the stupid fucking knife. Not like last time. The good thing is, I already clicked on all of these before, so we don't need to think very long about which one it is we have to get. Let us combine these two immediately, so we have the knife for later. Yeah! Good knife. It's a bunch of cheese. And a bottle of oil. Use the oil on this thing. There we go. Time to get locked into a freezer. Click. Checks to see whether or not you pick the correct dialogue options. I mean, yeah. I am already glad that there is a flowchart in this version, because at some point it does get a little boring to read the same text for like the 15th time. I'm sorry to say this. I felt the same way. You know, I finished the first Kara no Shoujo now, only to find out like 3 hours before I was done with it, I found out that I was playing the older translated version that was honestly, you know, based on an older version of the game, so all of the UI and everything wasn't as good. There's not even an ending list in that version of the game. I've gotten all of the endings now, but there's no way for me to look it up, and I'm still so upset. I only realized 3 hours before I was done with it. What's happened so far in the playthrough? We've gotten every single ending except for the ending you get locked into on the true ending route if you don't have all of the necessary keys, but we have all of the keys, so we are simply going to go ahead all the way through to the true ending. I wouldn't even have noticed, yeah. I probably would have noticed once I was done. And try to install the second and third game at some point, because I wouldn't have found them either, so... That was fun. Okay, there isn't anything else that looks useful. Let's see... okay. How do I get out of this room again? This one... and... crumbled dry ice. And the crumbled dry ice. And the water bottle. Yes! We have... Hold on, let me show you. We have done all of this. We have gotten all of these endings. We have gotten the last key we need. Here, this big one. What we don't have is specifically going from this selection over to still this room, because, you know, the possibility is there, but we've done the rest of the, like, this is flavor text, honestly. So what we are going to do now is go all the way here and then do this specific room for the first time, because we haven't had... We could have done it, but, you know, we simply haven't. We need to do it on the true ending, so we're gonna do this. And then make our way somewhere that looks suspiciously like we haven't seen it yet. And if you think it's going to end there, then you thought wrong. This is a lie. You think there's just this one block here? Oh no. But that's the plan. So I'm simply slightly kind of obviously not speedrunning because I don't fully remember everything. But I remember enough to try and make it through these rooms relatively quickly. Like all of the ones we've seen before. Alright. Let's put this bomb here. And kaboom! There we go. Good. It's been like 5 years since you played? Ah, no worries then. It also has been a while since I last played, not gonna lie. I think this needs to go on the stove first, right? Yeah. And then... we're going to burn ourselves. And cut. This time I have the knife already. There we go. Pork note. Oh, thank you for the follow. I hope you enjoy your stay. The red lock keys mean, because I'm not on the, as far as I understand, it's like if we haven't gotten, like if we haven't seen an event on the route. So because I'm not currently there, or I'm not in the escape room seeing the event, it's not unlocked. I honestly cannot tell you why some of these are red and some are white, though. I don't know. Sorry, why are the pigtails not working? Hold on. Sorry, you get some manual pigtails. Thank you. Also, hi, yeah, it's very good to see you again. I don't know why they're not working. Some manuals. I did listen to Akane ramble about all eyes, yeah. No worries. We did the exact same selections we did last time, so we do have it. We do have it. It's all good. All good. Right. This means I should be able to get in here, and the game is like, oh my god, you need to press buttons? Wow, no way. 43. Here we go. Open up, and we get a key card. Let's get out of here. There we go. Yeah, I have really fast hair growth. You have no idea. Okay. Good. This means I should be able to jump all the way to here. To the actual selection of the doors. Up. Whoa, and then my game looks like it's almost crashing. Okay, don't do that, please. Let's save, just in case. You never know. Thank you. No, I do not want to return to this. Pressing buttons is hard work, just as Stanley. I want to finally play the upgraded, updated, whatever other version of Stanley Parable. I need to play it so badly. It checks for the save ending, while the white keys are checks for avoiding acts. Oh, that could be. That could be. I never actually bothered to, like... Okay. Okay, yeah, thank you. Okay, there's the whole explanation about which is possible, which we've seen before. Hold on. Yep. Yep. It's okay. Good. I just wish the skip version in this game worked better, because this definitely does skip text that I've never actually seen before. Okay, this is different though, because this is the first time we have this exact connection. Okay, okay. It was failed red lock at the first dose and save requires door 5. Oh, I see. Oh, that makes sense. Ah, that makes sense. You scared me though for a second. I only read I failed something like, what? No, I should be on the right way this time. 7, my beloved. Oh, is 7 your favorite character? Okay, there we go. Clover looked away and was silent for a moment. It was more of a dismissal than an agreement, but Santa didn't seem to care. Okay. Santa's command, the group split and headed for their respective doors. Clover, 7, and Junpei walked toward door 7. Santa, Lotus, and June headed for door 8. For a long moment, they stood in front of the door. 7 took a deep breath. Yes. Big fan of people who are totally different from what they look like. Oh, yeah! I still think the moment where you find out he's a police officer was so good. It's just like, definitely not what I expected him to be outside of being stuck here. It's one of those things where I'm always like, can't say anything until we actually get there. A narrow hallway stretched out before them. 7 and Clover leapt through the door. The moment they did, their bracelets beeped. The detonators on the bracelets had been activated. Junpei stepped forward to follow them. But as he was about to step over the threshold, he stopped. He looked to his right, toward door 8. Yeah, okay, you guys have this fucking scene every single time. June stood there, a mirror image of Junpei. She turned and looked toward him. Their eyes met. They nodded. The farewell took almost 1.5 seconds. Then someone took hold of Junpei's arms and hauled him bodily through the door. Alright. I don't remember what door 7 is. He heard the sound of the number door slam shut behind him. The spacer gave a cold electronic beep. Seven led the way down the hallway. Junpei and Clover followed him as fast as they could. After what seemed like far more than 81 seconds, they reached the end of the hall. There was no time to rest or catch their breath. All 3 stamped their hands in quick succession over the scanner panel on the dead. Woo! Good job. We're still alive. Still trying to catch his breath, Seven leaned heavily against the wall.
止まったぜ。
Another Sugals. True. Which I think is fitting. His smile seemed forced and a little crooked.
ナンバリングドアを通り抜けたのはこれで2度目になるが。やっぱりヒヤヒヤするもんだな。
Something. I still don't think you want to get used to that. He stood up straight, no longer out of breath, and wiped some of the sweat from his head and neck. Nova smirked at him.
図体の割には意外と肝っ玉は小さいんだね。
Okay.
なんだとてめえ、もう一遍言ってみろやこれ。
図体の割には意外と玉は。
てめえ、殺されてえのか。
やれるもんならやってみなさいよ。
This is a funny combination of characters.
おお、上等じゃねえかこのクソガキが。
おいおい、こんなところで仲違いはやめろよ。何の得にもならないだろうが。
They're so good. Junpei sighed. Sometimes he wondered if the doors and the puzzles were really the greatest challenge they face. No, the greatest challenge in these type of games is quite literally always how well you get along with all of the people stuck there with you.
ちょっとここで待っててくれ。他にも扉がないかどうか調べてくるから。
They didn't respond, but Junpei wasn't in the mood for a conversation anyway. Yeah, we should try to find our next escape room.
今入ってきたばかりだもんな。こっちの左の方、一本だけ脇道があるみたいだ。
Have we ever actually?
鉄の壁か。
I don't remember room 7, door 7 at all. Like at least from when the others go through this door, because we go through somewhere else. We have not actually been to this room in like all of my streams. So at last he gave up and returned to 7, who was tapping lightly on the wooden door.
どうせここを開くしかないんだろ。
Everyone except me is an idiot.
あ、そうみたいだ。
扉の上に何か書いてあるね。
Oh, the worst part is...
あの金属製のプレート。
The worst part is, this makes me want to replay Danganronpa as well. But that's so much! No, is this Protag an idiot sometimes? Oh yeah, no, for sure. For sure. He is. Do it! That's so much work! And so much reading! Once again, me, the visual novel streamer says, oh god, that's a lot of reading. Ew.
オペレーティングルーム。
オペレーティングルーム。
どうやらこの先は手術室になっているらしい。
Ew.
手術室か。少なくとも今聞いて嬉しい名前じゃないな。
Something about it made Junpei feel nervous.
とにかくうだうだやってても仕方がねえ。早速だが中を拝ませてもらうことにしよう。
Seven grabbed the brass knob and slowly opened the door. The creak of the hinge sounded like the groan of an old woman. An old woman, not an old man, an old
ど
woman.
うした？
いや、なんでもない。
A chill snaked its way down Junpei's spine.
入ろう。
Quickly, he gathered what courage he could and took the first step into the room. Seven followed, with Clover right behind him. Oh. Part of the room just past the door was obscured by a
なん
screen.
だこの吸い立ては。
見てみればわかるでしょ。
あ、おい、四つ葉。
Clover's curiosity got the better of her, and she darted past Junpei to peer around the screen. Only to immediately scream, yeah! The scream nearly blew out Junpei's eardrums. Same here, actually. Volume warning. He and Seven ran toward Clover to see what had frightened her. They ran at the screen and the cause of her outburst was immediately clear. Well, not a real human being, at least. I know, they are very long. And to be fair, the only ones I've ever actually finished the story of is the first Danganronpa and the second one. So, I don't know. Let's do the Zero Escape games first. I have so many serious started. No, it is clearly not a corpse. But maybe this is just because I can see that it's a shoddy 3D model. As always. It was something that looked kind of like a human lying across some sort of bed. No, not a bed. An operating table. The table sat on a rusty steel lift and a cluster of bright operating lights shone down on it from the ceiling. Slowly they approached. Oh my god. As they got closer to the body, it became clear that it wasn't a body at all. It's still scary to look at. Clover did not look terribly comforted. Slowly she approached the operating table and looked as intently as possible, from as far away as possible, at the thing. The thing! Junpei could see her relax. She heaved a great sigh of relief and wiped a few drops of sweat from her forehead. Seven smirked. Alright.
ところでどうやら彼も立派な肝っ玉を持ってるらしいな。と言っても肝臓ではなく心臓のようだな。あ？こいつか？この胸のところにある。そうだ。
It was set a little higher than normal for a human body, but from the shape of the organ, there could be no doubt that it was a heart.
なんで心臓なんか。
ただの人形じゃないってことだろうな。
人体模型？
夜のお友達かもしれないぜ。
Ew. Seven's grin was more than a little perverted. Clover glared at him.
とにかく室内を調べてみよう。
Don't get into it.
うん。
了解だ。
Let's get into it. Yeah. Sick way out.
Okay. Goodness gracious. What do we have here? This looks like something I can attack with. A scalpel. Okay, anything else? None of this other stuff looks useful. It's all pretty rusty. Really? All of it? Okay. What about here? I use these for surgery, right? Syringe? Wait, how do you say it? Syringe. Not syringe. Syringe. Cups on my plate. Just a scissorish thingy. Yeah, take it. Haha, forceps. Okay. Syringe. I learn. Sometimes I do actually learn. What are you? Ooh, a fake organ. Okay. Well, I'd rather it be a fake organ than a real one. It's also really kind of creepy, you know? It says something here. John. You think that's the doll's name? Maybe. This thing is creepy. I wonder why it's on the bed. Oh, because we need to figure out what to do with it. What the hell are you? The boily thing over there? Wait, no, I wanted this. Was denn? Miau. Miau. Eine Holzhose. Gut. Hoppala. Could read it as a German VTuber trying to learn English when things settle. No, for all the love, listen. For all of the funniest thing is for how many German VTubers I've gotten to know where it's like German speaking, not necessarily living in Germany, but just German speaking VTubers I've gotten to know. It's so funny. Because I do know I have an accent, and I don't hide the fact that English is not my first language, but I've gotten it a few times where it's like, wait, you know German too? And I'm like, yes. Yes, I quite literally lose any and all ability to speak proper English all the time. So yes, I do know German. It's my mother tongue. But like, I don't think I would feel comfortable trying to stream in German. I don't know, there's always been this disconnect for me personally where it's like, no, I do stuff online, I need to do it in English. And my English better be really good. I do have a few certifications that technically allow me to work as an interpreter as well, technically. I don't do that because absolutely no way. I'd have to like really put more work into that, but technically I'm certified to be one. Okay, hold it. Let's. Oh wait. Why didn't I take it with me? Am I stupid? I thought I took this for... Oh. I already did because I had it equipped accidentally. Okay. Let's try cutting this open with the scalpel. Okay. Thank you for that key. See, where can I go with that? Chemical room. Wait, which door did I come in through? This one? Oh, no, that's the one this unlocks. Okay. I'll take it. Anything of interest here? Yes. There's a note on top of the table. Iron is 1, salt is 2, and water is 3. Let me write that down. Let me write that down. Iron. What? Salt. 2. Okay. Carbon dioxide, question mark, ammonia, question mark, and ethanol. Okay. What do you think this is a hint for? Maybe it's got something to do with this box. Maybe. Hi, Raiders! Welcome in! Good evening! I know I like the color pink Vision Ovens JRPGs. We're currently playing Zero Escape 999. Hello! Welcome. Project Eden's Garden. Okay, correct me if I'm wrong. That's... No. Is that one big Danganronpa fan game? Correct me if I'm wrong. Hey, you managed to copy the raid message. Hi, welcome in. You love 999. Me too. It's a one big Danganronpa fan game. Yes. Yes. Sometimes I know things. Really glad the Jungs are fake. Would be traumatic. That would be another thing. Oh my god. Don't. Ooh, no, I do not want to imagine having to cut up like actual organs to get keys. Like, I think these people go through a lot enough already. I don't want to be cutting up any actual organs. Please, no. Okay, well, let's find out what these other numbers are. Blue liquid. I love liquid. Red liquid. Tasty. I love liquid. Is there anything else I can... Do you think there are any slugs on this ship? Excuse me? Huh? Well, if there are, I was thinking we could put salt on them. What's she pointing at? The label states... salt, huh? Do you think Seven will shrivel up if you put it on him? Hey. You say something? What the f... Hello? We love Noah's hell yeah. I hope your stream was fun. Clove is terrifying? A little bit. A little bit. There's a bottle of iron powder on the shelf. How do you know it's iron? The label says Fe. Fe stands for iron, right? It does. It does. Technically. You need more mystery vision novels? Ah! Have you played Nausea? The one that everyone and their mother is calling anime amogas? Because if you haven't, you should. It's good. I can recommend it. It is very good. Oh no! Have you played Nausea? If you're in search for mystery visual novels? Oh, I'm not sure you can hear the whispers over the music. Oh, you don't think yet? Oh, well, take it from me. You've known me for like 2 minutes, but Nausea is very good. If you like games with a gameplay loop of trying to find more information each and every loop, and also a futuristic vibe, I think you would like it. It's also getting an anime, and I really hope that's gonna go over well, because I'm a little scared they're going to fuck it up, but I will be watching. You trust people who play Zero Escape? Yes! Okay. Sounds like Well, the basic premise of Nausea is that you're on a ship, and it, you know, the whole oh my god, anime Among Us is true to the extent that it's like everyone has a role, and you're trying to find out who has what role and who are the imposters. They're not called that, but it does work alongside that way, and it's really good. It's really good. It's also quite lengthy. It took us quite a while to play. Absolutely, please do. If you end up playing it, I would love to hear what you think of it. Genuinely, by the way, because I try to spread the gospel of Nausea everywhere I can. Like, I feel like that game rewired my brain a little bit, for sure. At least a little bit. Something stings. It's coming from this bottle. It says NH3. Well, that of course stings. It's ammonia. Oh, ammonia! Okay, and how am I going to find out what number that stands for then? Ammonia is one of those we need. God. Let me write that down. Ammonia and... Oh. You never Persona play. Oh, fuck yeah, you like Persona. Oh my god. Okay, hold on. I need to tap out. Sorry about the music. Hold on. Which is your favorite Persona game? There's no wrong answers, by the way. I am not a Persona elitist. There's no wrong answers. I need to know. Maybe basic, but you like Handshake emoji! Handshake emoji, my friend. Definitely not because it's Goro again. I see you are also currently in the process of playing Persona 5 Royal. I see. Sorry. Okay. I had to stalk your profile for a second. 30-ish game mode is only 5%. 5 out of 10 done with the stream, right? Oh, really? To be fair, it has been 3 years since Nausea. Oh my god, for real? Oh my god. Like, at some point, I would recommend going into Nausea blind. As much as you can, and like only at once it's getting harder to get like new events, then I would recommend maybe looking up how to trigger some of them. But I think we had almost no trouble seeing everything and getting to the true ending, which was really worth it, by the way. So, lovely game. Once again, please play Nausea. Nausea, Jesus Christ. It is available pretty much everywhere. It goes on sale... It goes on sale on Steam semi-frequently and the big sales. Definitely. But also, yeah, I'm a big Persona 5 player. Persona 5 was the first Persona game that I actually finished playing. Or more like, me personally, I have played Persona 5 and Persona 5 Royal several times now, also on stream. I have played Persona 4 Golden on stream. I have also, for myself, privately finished Persona 3 Reload, and I plan on playing P3P on stream at some point, because I simply refuse to be like Atlas and ignore the FMC's existence, because I love her, and I will play through the entire PlayStation Portable version of the game. If it is just for her, I don't care. What about hating Persona? Okay, true. That is not... Well, I mean, to each their own, but that is not an answer I would like. That's very true. Yeah. I don't know. I Persona 5 just kind of really stuck with me because it was the first one I really just kind of eased into. That was easy to understand for me. So, and then it was easier for me to like get into Persona 4 Golden, because I had played both P3 and P4 many years before P5 came out, but I never kind of had quite understood the games. And after having finished the vanilla P5, I had way less trouble getting into the others, so that was fun. Nausea normally gets a good 20% off. It does. I think it might have gone on a 25% at some point as well, but around 20 is where it's usually at. Don't talk about the P game, Helsingborg, shut up. I have no idea what you're talking about. Me, talk about other games. No, I would never do that. Let's try and maybe figure out what to do in this room while we're doing it. There's dihydrogen monoxide on the shelf. I don't know how to say that. Can you just say water? Okay. Looks like a can with a spray nozzle. It says CO2. It's a can filled with carbon dioxide. Okay, and how does that help me with the numbers? Oh well. The box is locked. Looks like you have to enter passcode on a keypad to open it. You only need the 3 numbers. E is for entered C is clear. Once you input the numbers, press E. If you mess up, press C. Okay. As usual, then. We're Tangent City over here. We are. We the only thing we do try is to focus on the game we're currently playing, like if it's cutscenes and whatever. But yes, we definitely go on tangents all the time. And there's an arm in here. Okay, great arm. That's fine. Gotten through third of P4G and you feel kind of bad about it. Aww. Do you not enjoy it anymore? Is it like because it's like you would still like to see it, but playing it yourself is exhausting? So absolutely no problem. Thank you so much for coming by. Have a good rest. On a fake heart. Okay. Bottle of salt. Wait, no, we've got this already. Anything else? Oh, yes.
ああ、そうだな。
Clover nodded and left. Junpei was about to follow her when he realized that Seven wasn't following suit. I did it in 2 times. I mean, not to toot my own horn, but we've done Persona 4 Golden on stream, and we finished it, and we did the true ending. If you want to watch that. It's in a neat little playlist on YouTube even. Because it was back when I actually properly made some thumbnails and everything. I should go back to that.
おい、どうしたんだよ、セブン。
なあ、
He looked up at Junpei distractedly and then back down at the brown bottle he held cupped in his large hands.
それ、薬の瓶か？
ちょっと気になってな。ほらよ。
Link is somewhere in the bio. It is. YouTube should be linked several times actually. Both in the basic Twitch thingy and also somewhere down there in my about section. In response, Seven tossed the bottle gently to Junpei. He caught it and twisted it around to read the label.
エチレンジアミンタートレイト？
Okay, if you say so.
EDT 主積酸エチレンジアミンのことだ。
何の薬だ？
医薬品じゃねえ。確か工業用の清浄剤か何かだったはずだ。
どうしてそんなものがここに？
Sunday, yeah, for real.
何かを浄化するためだろう。
Ethylene, damn.
何かって。
さあな。だが少なくとも俺の頭の中はほんの少しだけ浄化してくれたみたいだぜ。
You remember something about it. Junpei looked up from the bottle.
何か思い出したんか？
ああ。
Seven nodded slowly and spoke.
思い出したのは EDT にまつわるこんな話だ。今から半世紀以上も前のことになる。アメリカのとある工場で EDT の巨大な結晶を作っていた。目的はさっきも言ったが、工業用の清浄剤として売るためだ。ところが、その工場が稼働を始めてから1年後のある日、タンクの中で生成していたこの結晶に奇妙な異変が現れ始めた。EDT に水の分子が一つだけくっついた、いわゆる水和物と呼ばれる結晶ができるようになってしまったんだ。こうなってしまうと、もはや清浄剤としては役に立たない。
Oh, sorry about that. Factory had to just dump the crystals as a hydrate that were useless.
だが、話はそれだけでは終わらない。この日を境にして、距離を隔てた別の工場でも同じ現象が現れるようになった。今までと全く同じ手順で、全く同じ材料を使って、全く同じ環境の下で生成していたにもかかわらず、出来上がったものはどれもこれも水和物の結晶ばかりで、それからというもの、世界各地のありとあらゆる工場で純粋な EDT の結晶は一切作れなくなってしまったらしい。 それまでは研究機関も含めてそんな現象は一度たりとも発生したことはなかったのに、最初の工場でそれが生み出された途端、まるでなんて言やいいな。
あたかも物質同士が互いにささやき合っているかのように。
Yeah. I would like to say we have finished playing over 170 games already. We've played more than that. We've not necessarily finished every single game we started, as in, you know, seen an ending. But I try to finish most of my games that we do on stream, so.
目には見えない何かで情報を伝え合っているかのように、その現象は瞬く間に世界各地へと広がっていった。だろ
Jimmy looked up at Seven with a half a smirk. Seven stared at him dumbfounded.
そうだ。要するにそういうことなんだ。だが、なんでわかった？
Oh, we had a similar talk.
似たような話を聞いたことがあるからだよ。
どこで？
冷凍庫で。
In the freezer.
冷凍庫？
ああ、そこで紫から聞いたんだが。
Oh, thank you for the hydrate time. I have not been hydrating as much as I should. Ah, yes. I like that we took the strap-on quote as the first one when I set up the bot. It's like, yeah, this is it. This is the one we need. Junpei told Seven a story to her from June in the freezer in the kitchen. How one day glycerine began to crystallize, and the story of ice that wouldn't melt at room temperature. When Junpei was done, Seven looked thoughtful and absentmindedly rubbed the scar on his chin.
常温でも溶けない氷か。
何か思い当たることでも？
ちょっと待ってくれ。もう少しで思い出しそうなんだ。
Seven squinted. His eyes stared off into space as if he were trying desperately to focus on something far away.
もしかして。
Do you know about Ice 9?
I wish you were there to have a lot to say. It's okay. You can join from now on. You can join from now on. There's still going to be more stuff. I do plan on doing this for quite a while longer, especially as soon as I get my life back in order.
アイスナインのこと知ってるのか？
So we can be here more often again.
アイスナイン。アイスナイン。アイスナイン。アイス。アイス。
Ice. The boiling babies quote haunts me in my dreams. The worst part is, I don't even know the exact spot in that playthrough anymore. Like, I couldn't even... I want to look up. I've been wanting to look up what the hell we were talking about when boiling babies came up, you know? I can't find it. I haven't looked properly, to be fair, but also... It's been watching all new streams until you can go back to streaming regularly. Oh my god. Just watch like 5 of them at the same time, all at like 4 times speed. With auto captions or whatever. The auto captions will absolutely not understand a single thing I say ever, but you can try. Suddenly Seven's eyes shut open.
そうだ！思い出したぜ！この船にはあの少女がいるんだ。
Okay.
あの少女？
アリスのことだよ。
アリスって誰だよ？
だから常温でも溶けない 凍りついたあの少女のことだ。
Huh?
It became clear to Seven that Junpei had no idea what he was talking about. He ran his hand across his face and took a deep breath.
1912年4月15日の未明、タイタニック号が沈没したことは知ってるよな。
ああ、犠牲者の数は1500名以上。史上最悪の海難事故だ。それがどうかしたのか？
遺体を回収した船のことは？
確かカルパチア号じゃなかったかな。タイタニック号と同じイギリス船籍の客船だったと思うが。
I would have not known what that boat was called. No way.
違う。そいつは生存者を救出した船のことだ。
Even if it's the wrong
遺体を
one.
回収した船はマッケイ・ベネット号という。
Okay.
ベネット号は事故発生から2日後の4月17日。
I think pretty much all of the quotes, almost all of the quotes about Yakuza 6 are actually from the one same stream. I think the boiling babies was because of the noodly neck. When they throw the baby, and I was like, there's no way, because they never support his neck, right? And then they start throwing him, and we started talking about noodly necks. And then we somehow got through the boiling babies. And all of that is definitely the same stream. Something along those lines, but I'd have to go back and actually check to make sure.
カナダのハリファクスにある港を出港し、現場海域において306人の遺体を収容した。
And they all keep showing up in the quote bot.
そこは氷山の漂う極寒の海原。当然のごとく引き上げられた遺体はガチガチに凍りついていたという。
あまり気分のいい話じゃないな。それで
all of the people in this game are having the worst autism off you've ever seen. They're like, damn, we all share hyperfixations, but I have a bigger hyperfixation than you do. And now fuck you, locks you out of the number 9 door. That's what this game is about, actually. Fair. I feel maybe the quote book doesn't give us the boiling babies if we talk about it enough. Like the more often we say haha boiling babies, the less it shows up. I think it's, let me check. 32. 32 is the boiling babies. Yeah.
ベネット号が引き上げ
That's
た
the
の
one.
は何も遺体だけじゃなかった。洋上に浮かんだ数々の遺品も回収したと言われている。その中に一機の棺があった。
棺？
そう、棺だ。木製のな。
I have to actually admit though, I don't know that much about the Titanic sinking that I could even tell you if this whole coffin thingy is something real or something they just kind of conjured up and they were like, yeah, you know what, let's run with it. They used to talk to each other about it and they never talk to each other about it. It's just, oh, no. Absolutely. Like, everyone in this game kind of has stuff where you're like, okay, good for you, you know this random info, only for the next person to chime in like, oh yeah, blah 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 blah. And you're like, why are there two people in this room who have very specific info that surely no one really just kind of drops for no reason? Oh yeah. Other ways to listen to guys moan is one of our earliest clips as well, isn't it?
おそらく腕の立つ職人が作ったんだろう。組木細工のような構造をしていたその棺は一本の釘も使われていなかったにもかかわらず、少しの隙間もなくびっちりと密閉されていたらしい。船員たちは気になってその棺を開けてみることにした。くさびを打ち込んで無理やりこじ開けたんだ。
I find it kind of sad that they take a wedge and hammer to it to get it open. It's like, wow, it's this great craftsmanship. The thing literally didn't sink when the entire Titanic sunk, and they're like, oh, we need to know what's in there. I assume as soon as you get it open, you're never going to be able to close it up as well as it was closed up before. As soon as you do, but okay.
すると、一人の少女の亡骸だった。あでやかな黒髪、みずみずしく潤いをまとった褐色の肌、気品漂うその顔立ちは、まるで女神のように美しかったという。彼女は眠るように死んでいた。今にも起き上がってきそうなほど血色のいい艶やかな肌をしていた。だが彼女が目覚めることはなかった。他の犠牲者たちと同じように彼女の体は冷たく凍りついていたんだ。やがて捜索を終えたベネット号は母港であるハリファクスの港へと戻った。次々と陸揚げされていく306体の遺体。春のうららかな日差しを浴びて、その頃にはもう凍っていた遺体はぐずぐずと溶け出していた。中には腐臭を放ち始めていたものもあったとか。
Like kind of girl nap for 1,000+ years, for real.
ところが一体だけ凍りついたままの
It's always nap time somewhere in the world.
それが
棺の中に収められていた少女だったと。
そうだ。最初は誰もが思った。ほんの 2,3 日もすれば彼女の体も腐り始めるだろうと。だが1週間経っても2週間経っても状態はまるで変わらなかった。1月が経ち2月が経ち、季節はすでに夏。
I feel honored that you're here then, instead of napping. Thank you.
それでもなお凍ったままの彼女の姿は、やがて人々から奇跡と呼ばれるようになった。噂は噂を呼んで瞬く間に広がり、奇跡の少女を一目見ようと大勢の人々がハリファクスの港へと押し寄せることになった。そんな中、誰からともなく彼女のことをこんな風に呼び始めた。
Oh, ice.
オールアイス。アリスと。
Ice, ice, baby.
だが、その噂も長くは続かなかった。
どうして？
消えちまったんだよ。アリスの姿が忽然と。何者かが倉庫に忍び込んでアリスの遺体を持ち去ったらしい。姿が消えれば噂も消える。次第に彼女のことは忘れ去られていき、今では当時の新聞にその名残をわずかに留めるばかりだ。
Mm-hmm.
待ってくれ。お前はさっきこの船にはあの少女がいるって。
ああ、言ったな。アリスは間違いなくこの船のどこかにいるはずだ。
なぜ？
Wow. Are you kidding me? Naze. Now why the hell would you say something like that? Okay, that sure is one way to translate that.
俺は知ってるからだ。
何を？
その後アリスがどうなったのかを。
Jumpico.
聞かせてくれ。どうなったんだ？アリスは。
Seven nodded slowly and took on the look of a man recalling something long buried.
当時ニューヨークには世界中の富豪たちが集まるブラックマーケットがあったと言われている。そこのオークションで アリスは競売にかけられたんだ。
I wouldn't be surprised.
落札した人物の名はサーデュエフ・ゴルダイン。聞いたことのある名前だろう。
ゴルダイン卿、タイタニック号の姉妹船ギガント号を買い取った人物か。
その通り。ま、時系列的には逆になるんだがな。
というと、
ゴルダイン卿は1912年にアリスを手に入れてから、
That man has a lot of money.
1916年にギガントを買い取ったんだ。そしてギガントのどこかにアリスを隠した。それがどこなのかはわからん。彼は1931年にこの世を去っている。
Had.
アリスの隠し場所を誰にも告げぬままくたばっちまったのさ。ただなんだ。 ゴルダイン卿の側近が一度だけ訪ねたことがあるそうだ。アリスはどこに？すると彼はこう答えたという。ギガントのへその下。知識の森を抜けた小部屋にアリスは眠っている。
That's not cryptic at all.
だそりゃ暗号か。
さあな。
Sam threw his hands up in defeat.
とにかくそんなわけで俺は確信してるんだよ。ギガントのどこかに、つまりこの船のどこかに氷の少女が隠されてるってな。
Before Junpei could dispute Seven's rather bizarre claim, as Junpei was trying to figure out what on earth he was going to say next, Clover's shrill voice pierced the room.
ちょっと、二人とも何やってんのよ。そんなところでだべってないで、早く出てきなさいよ。
いや、わかったわかった。すぐに行くよ。
たくもう。
Seven looked at Junpei.
とにかくそういうわけだ。
Mm-hmm. Thank you.
今話したこと、いずれ役に立つ時が来るかもしれん。
With that cryptic remark, he turned and left the room.
アリスか。
Junpei was left behind to ponder what he'd just heard. He tried to remember what June had told him earlier.
その王女のミイラは普通のミイラじゃなかったんですよ。彼女、凍ってたみたいなんです。発見された時からタイタニックに積み込まれるまでずっと。凍りついたその体は砂漠の上を運ばれている時でさえ決して溶けることはなかったと言われています。
そのエジプトの王女がアリス。体内にある 60% の水分がすべてアイスナインでできていた。バカバカしい。そんな人間いるわけないじゃないか。
Junpei shook his head, trying desperately to clear it, and followed Seven to the operating room where Clover was waiting. Alright. What else do we have? The preparation room, which is locked. Wrong button. Does this key fit here? It does! What's in the preparation room? Piece of paper. What's this? Some kind of medical record. Oh. New material has been added to the file screen. Let me see. A medical record found in the preparation room. It has records for the two mannequins. There's a male mannequin named John and a female named Lucy. The record shows each mannequin's total weight and the weight of their individual parts. Oh. Oh. Okay. Fun. That's gonna be fun. Let you know. And I heard a noise. It sounded like something unlocking. What? No. Leg. The red light's on now? I think I heard another noise. Probably. Hi, Tracy. Opening stream to Lego. Joyous day. Lord, you look at that. There's another one just for you. Alright. And some blue liquid and some red liquid. I get it. You combine the red liquid and the blue liquid to make a purple one. Good job, Junpei. The purple light came on and heard it unlock. I'm sure it's unlocked. Luck with the purple plate has gotta be unlocked. Alright, see what happened. Why did she say unlocked like 3 times? Ooh. A fake stomach. That kind of looks like a nose if you squint. A little bit. A little bit. It looks like a nose, a little bit. Building is a very own human. Yeah. Is this a sink? Doctors and nurses probably wash their hands here before an operation. Nothing suspicious here. Okay, if you say so. Okay, we all thought it was a nose. Okay, that's good. Oh. Okay, we don't... What the hell are you doing? Don't you want to get out of here? I'm tired. Good mood. Okay, now let's go back. What? Hmm? Writing table. No. No, wait. Can I do anything else in here? I don't have... Yeah, I don't have this key yet. It won't even budge. Do you think this is the exit? Maybe. You stuff food inside and it doesn't get consumed. Are you stuffing food up your nose? Yeah, life has been stressful. I wish I was able to stream more often, but we're here now, aren't we? What's this one? Oh, that's where we came from. Okay. The chemical room doesn't have anything else. No, we're done here. You've definitely been in this room before? Probably. So number 7. You have to hug the left side for the true ending a lot. So this is our first time being over here. They should. They should improve. I do have things planned. I just need them to work out. But we're doing it somehow. I'm pretty darn sure I just have to take this. Creepy medical mannequin is lying on the bed. Apparently his name is John. Give me this. Oh, there we go. Hello. Okay, if you collected the 6 parts of the medical mannequin. You think these are parts you go to that some... Oh, you mean Lucy? That's her name, I think. See, it says Lucy right here. Oh yeah, right. Well, it doesn't look like John is missing any of his parts. So the ones you got must be for Lucy, right? Yeah. Seems like it. Well, I say we give Lucy her parts back. Any objections? No? Agreed. Alright, let's get started. Burn! Yay! Okay, and according to this thingy, it said that Lucy's total weight should be 53.2 kilograms. I think she should eat a little more. There's a number on here. 51 kilograms. What's this? Is this the weight? We're just checking body parts in it, so it makes sense that it would be the weight. Oh, but that's not right. That's not right. I don't know what this thing is. It says kilogram on the display. I think maybe it's a scale. That's what you weighed to. Sorry. Ah. Well, how much does it say on his... There's some sort of lid on this thing. Why don't you try opening it? And there's no handle. Can't get under with my nails either. Oh, really? But 51 isn't right. You need to weigh more. There used to be a scale that measures the patient's weight. The panel says 51. But that's not right. Nothing happened. That's odd. Maybe it's the wrong weight. Wait. Yeah, well, you know how there's a scale on the side of the bat? Maybe we need to get the scale to a specific number. Oh, we're gonna do that. I think we're supposed to swap her body parts with John's. Oh. Give it a shot. Ah, there we go. Screen will display 2 medical mannequins. You can switch their body parts by selecting the part you want to switch out. Thank you, game. Was it the heart that you needed to swap? No. Oh, God. I didn't write down. I didn't write down what the correct thing is. Fuck my life. Or is it just, do you need to replace all of them? Ah! Hey Junpei, I just heard something. It came from John's operating table. We better check it out. Okay, I can do that. Just press all of the buttons sometimes. Oh! The lid on the scale. Ja-ja! It opens. I get it, it must have opened because we matched John's weight to what's on the chart. Jupiter key! Which means we can get through this door. Maybe. Junpei stopped about to put a key into the doorknob. Jupiter? I don't even know her. Junpei turned around. Clover was nowhere to be seen. There's only so many places she could be. To be fair, I think that every time someone goes missing, but... Junpei left Seven at the door and headed back to the operating room. He found her standing next to the operating table. She was staring at the mannequin. She didn't respond. If she hadn't been standing up and breathing, Junpei might have thought she was dead. It wasn't the best joke, but it was something. An attempt to lighten the mood. Clover didn't laugh. She stood stock still and said nothing. Perhaps it was something he'd said, or perhaps it was something else. Suddenly her mouth opened and she whispered in a dry, dad voice. Suddenly the operating room felt very, very cold. He gave her a small shake, but she still didn't respond. The silence grew heavier. Junpei... I want to give her the 4-leaf clover. He didn't know why, but suddenly Junpei remembered something he'd been given earlier. He reached into his pocket and dug it out. Santa had given it to him in the second-class room. He held it out to Clover.
四つ葉のクローバーの葉っぱには1枚ずつ意味が込められてるんだぜ。ホープ、フェイス、
ラブ、ラック、
希望、信頼、愛、幸運だ。こいつをお前にやろう。お守りだ。
He pressed a 4-leaf clover into her hand.
いいか、四つ葉。いつでも、どんな時でも、希望を捨てちゃいけない。大切なのは信じること。そして愛することだ。この3つが揃った時、初めて幸運が訪れる。お前の兄貴、ニルスは殺されてなんかいない。きっとどこかで生きている。そう信じるんだ。
Clover stared at the four-leaf clover in her hand. He could see the tears start to form at the corners of her eyes.
ありがとう。
Her voice was tiny and broken, and as she spoke, she started to cry. She tried to hide her tears by looking at the floor, but it did little good. She wiped away tears with the baggy arms of her jacket, but more quickly took their place. No matter how she tried, she couldn't stop crying. Her tears made small wet circles on the floor.
ありがとう。
She said it again. Then she looked up at Junpei and seemed to choke down the last of her grief. She did her best to smile. Junpei wiped an errant tear from her cheek with his thumb and gave her the best smile he could manage.
出口の前でセブンが待ってる。
But still, she didn't move.
待って。その前に一つだけ聞きたいことがあるの。
なんだ？
実験って聞いて何か思い当たることは？
For a moment his mind froze. Then he came back to his senses and realized the word meant nothing to him aside from the dictionary definition.
Huh?
Huh?
そっか。そうだよね。それじゃあやっぱりただの偶然だったんだ。順平が四つ葉のクローバーのこと知ってたのは。
すまん。意味がわからないんだが。
Look, I don't want to be a jerk, he says jerkily.
うん。なんでもないの。気にしないで。
気にしないでって言われて気にならないやつなんていないだろう。なあ、教えてくれ。何なんだその実験って。
Clover looked away. The four-leaf clover was still in her hand. She stared at it for a long moment and then finally spoke.
絶対誰にも言わないって誓ってくれる？
おう、誓うよ。
本当に？
本当だ。
信頼してもいいんだよね。
Mm-hmm. You know, as long as you don't go crazy bonkers and put an axe into my back.
当たり前じゃないか。
Clover slipped the four-leaf clover into her pocket. Her eyes still red from crying, she looked up at Junpei.
わかった。それじゃあ教えてあげる。今から9年前、この船で何が行われたのか。
ドンドン。
待て待て待て。この船で？
そう。この船で。
He really wouldn't be able to tell anyone at that point. True? True? I didn't think of that. He was entirely lost. He had 1,000 questions, but it was probably best, he thought, to save them until Clover had finished.
実験は、ある特殊な心理的作用を検証するために行われたの。その心理的作用っていうのは、目には見えないフィールドを介した共鳴作用のことなんだけど。
目には見えないフィールド？
He'd heard something like this before. Clover nodded.
例えば、これを見て。
She pointed at the operating table. On top of it was a somewhat mismatched medical mannequin whose parts had been swapped with another
ジョン
mannequin.
君。これって本当にジョン君なのかな？
Is he?
は？
All Junpei could think was she has finally completely lost it.
ロックの靴下みたいじゃない？そうじゃなければテセウスの船とか。
Junpei grew even more confused. He'd never heard of either of those things, although they sounded smart.
知らない？今言ったパラドックスの話。
知らないな。
The ship of Theseus is the one where it's like if you replace every single part of the ship, even if they look the same, is it still the same ship? Isn't that the one? Junpei shook his head. Yes? Okay, thank you. I feel smart. Clover
ロ
laughed.
ックの靴下っていうのはこんな話。今ここにお気に入りの靴下があるとするね。その靴下に大きな穴が開いちゃったの。順平だったらどうする？
Catch it.
継ぎ当てをするしかないだろうな。どっからか別の布を持ってきて 穴のところに縫い付けるんだ。
他のところにも穴が開いちゃったら、
また継ぎ当てをする。
さらに他のところにも穴が開いちゃったら、
また継ぎ当てを。
じゃあさ、そうして何度も何度も継ぎ当てを繰り返していって、最初に使われてた布地が全くなくなっちゃったとしたら、そうしたらそれって元のお気に入りの靴下と同じものって言えるのかな。
Though arguably you could say the same about our cells as well, because a bunch of, or like our skin obviously keeps replacing it, but we're still the same person. Right? Maybe it's in these type of cases it's more extreme because you can physically like see the change, especially when it is about a sock. But
難しい問題だな。
that's what I call paradoxes. Junpei crossed his
もしか
arms.
してそれがロックの靴下の話か？
そう、テセウスの船も似たようなもの。テセウスの船、その船の傷んだ箇所を少しずつ
Here we go.
少しずつ補修していったら、
I can't help it. I can't help it. The last time I played this game and heard her voice in it, I didn't have this connection to Higurashi yet. Like not as much. Obviously I knew about Higurashi, I knew Rika, but I hadn't heard her voice as much yet, right? Now that I've actually finished all of the main titles and the console, most of the console arcs and stuff like that, I've heard her as Rika so many times. And she does do a similar voice here. Like the way she speaks as Rika and also as Clover is immensely similar.
最終的にもともと使われていた部品が一つもない状態になっちゃったんだって。それでもその船はテセウスの船と言えるのかな。あと船から取り除かれた古い部品を別の場所で組み立て直した場合はどうなるんだろう。その時にはどちらか一方が本物のテセウスの船ってことになるのかな。補修した方かな、それとも古い部品で組み立て直した方。
It was an interesting question. Nova could see Junpei was intrigued.
ね、同じだと思わない？
I really like the sprite of her. Because she is smart. And she's generally just like... It's one of the few sprites where she's not either completely down in the dumps or slowly like about to lose her mind.
何が？
この人形のこと、これ。
This is John, is it Lucy now? Junpei looked at the operating table again. A mannequin full of body parts from a different body. Clover had been right. It was just like Locke's socks and the ship of Theseus. The part of the body that holds a person's identity is the head. Of course, for many hundreds of years, conventional wisdom had held that a man's identity resided in his heart or any of a number of internal organs. And here they had both.
頭部と心臓はジョンのものだ。しかしそれらと片腕を除いた全身の大部分はルーシーのパーツによって構成されている。
Was that mannequin really John?
私たちもこの人形と同じなんだよ。
She looked at Junpei
だって
again.
そうでしょ。私たちの体の細胞だって日々入れ替わってるわけで、私の左腕の一部はサンマのタンパク質でできてるのかもしれない。順平の右足の一部は牛のタンパク質でできてるのかもしれない。さらに遡るとサンマや牛のタンパク質も別の何かでできてることになるよね。そんな風にして私たちはつながり合ってるんだよ。目には見えないフィールドを介して。
The silence was broken by Seven.
遅えよ、何やってんだお前ら。
Seven's head appeared in the doorway. He was not happy.
いつまで待たせるつもりだ。時間がねえんだよ、分かってんだろうが。
Says the guy who told me all about all ice just like 5 minutes ago. Junpei and Clover looked at each other. Clover looked at Junpei as if to say there was more she wanted to tell him. She shook her head. Whatever she had to tell him, she didn't want to tell him in front of Seven. Seven seemed to catch on. It is. It features two of my favorite characters of all time in this game, though.
違うよ。そんなんじゃない。私たちはただ人形遊びをしてただけ。行こう、順平。
Moving a little bit too fast to be entirely innocent, Clover headed toward the exit. それは違う. Seven said after her, then turned to Junpei with an amused expression.
人形遊びって。順平、お前そんな趣味あったのか。
アホか。
Junpei dashed past him and traced Clover's path out the door. With a short laugh, Seven followed. They stood in front of the door. Junpei took out the Jupiter key.
よし。
Junpei took out the Jupiter key. The Junpei key.
いちいち聞かなくてもいい。さっさと開けるか、その鍵。
わかったよ。
He slipped the key into the keyhole and turned it. He felt it unlock. Ja-ja! The door opened with a soft, melancholy creak. Beyond it lay a simple white hallway. There was no fanfare or confetti. Obviously, there was no one there to applaud them. They simply walked through the door. That was it.
さてと、行きますか。
おいおい、なんだよそりゃ。じじいが散歩に出かけるみたいな言い方じゃねえか。おっとこ、他にねえのかよ。喜びを分かち合うような掛け声がさ。
ねえよ。
ねえよ. Chipper turned away from Seven and took his first step down the simple white hallway.
お兄ちゃん。もしかしたら。
You have to believe he is not.
次に狙われるのは。
Clover had told him only a few minutes before that her brother was probably dead and she was likely to follow him.
冗談じゃない。喜びの声なんて。あ。
Hey, you did it! You're on TV. Where is Snake right now, or wouldn't you like to know? We don't know. He is gone. They left the operating room. The hallway took them around several corners and past several doors, but they were all locked.
ここもか。扉があっても、どれもこれも鍵がかかってじゃね。
For real though, in case you... I know. I'm joking. I was joking. Can the guy make a joke? We do know exactly where Snake is. If you remember. Do you remember the safe ending and where we found him? In some very weird clothes, locked into a very weird coffin? That is where he should be right now. Yes. It's gonna be quite a while longer until we see him again. Hopefully. On this path. They all say, "Omedetou." Omedetou.
次のはどうかな。
I've never actually seen Evangelion. Nap life. The final door was hidden in the corner of the hall.
やってみるか。
Junpei grabbed the handle. As he made to push it open, a voice stopped him. The voice came from behind him and belonged to neither Seven nor Clover. He spun around. He saw someone running toward him from the other end of the hallway. There were 3 people coming toward Junpei and his companions.
紫。それに、サンタとヤシロも。
They pulled up short in front of Junpei, breathing hard.
おい、こいつは一体どういうことだ。
なんであなたたちがここにいるのよ。
なんでって言われても。
Before he could finish, Clover spoke.
ねえ、ちょっとみんな、こっち来てもらえる？
It's in the last second. Yeah. I've seen parts of the movies, basically. I've just never gotten around to watching the original animation. I do know the basic story though, and I wanted to see Kaworu, so I've watched I've watched bits of the movies. I own the entirety of the manga in German though. I haven't read it yet though. She was standing near the end of a small hallway that branched off to the right. The rest of them ran over to her, curious as to what she'd found. The map. There was something on the wall at the end of the hallway.
船内マップだ。
左上のところに C デッキとありますね。
このフロアのマップだってことかしら。
7の扉と8の扉。それぞれのルートをたどると、今俺たちがいる通路に出るようになっているのか。
As we are already aware. In fact,
要するに俺の言った通りだったってことだよ。9の扉を見つけるまで俺たちが離れ離れになることはないんだ。一時的に分離したとしても必ずどこかで合流するようになってる。そうしないと誰も9の扉を開けなくなっちまうからな。そういう風にできてんだよ。
へえ。
Jimmy looked at the map of the ship's interior again.
あれ？おい、この先ってもしかして。
As he looked more closely, his surprise and excitement gave way to wariness.
マジかよ、おい。
One by one, the others saw what he'd seen.
とにかく行きましょう。
そうだね。
They moved as one for the door.
忘れるところだった。こいつは取っておかないとな。
He pulled the map of the ship's interior off of the wall, put it in his pocket, and followed the others. I still think Junpei has to have immense pockets. Like, what do you mean you just stuff everything in there? Like, a few keys? Okay, sure. An entire map? Yes. Another map? Okay. 6 of them stood in front of the door and arrayed in a semicircle. Arrayed. Why did I put an end in there? Santa stepped forward. He took hold of the door and spoke without looking back at the other 5.
開くぞ。
Slowly, all 5 nodded a silent assent. With a deep breath, Santa threw open the door. Would you look at that? And you're back. They moved through the doorway and into the room. Even without looking around, each one of them knew where they were.
やっぱりか。
They were just where the map had said they would be.
戻ってきたんだ。この
The hospital
大
room.
病室に。
なるほど、話は分かった。
Yes. Which means we should be able to jump all the way here, right? The number 1 door, and then we just need to redo this for all of the events so we can get our keys. Let's do it. Do I remember all of this? Hopefully, maybe. Oh boy. Let's see. Stack of nautical charts. And a world map. Pocket watch. We have done this one before, yes. We're only doing this so we get all of these scenes again? Oh my god. Never mind. I don't think we saw this one last time. Yeah. Okay. Oh my goodness. Obviously we haven't seen this last time because Clover didn't talk to us as much last time. My bad. Sorry, I'm going to read this. Yeah. I think least favorite has to be Ace. Or on the list of least favorite has to be Ace. The ninth man. My favorites from 999 are June, Clover, and 7. I think that's who I said the last time, at least. I think if I were to make a top 3, these are the 3 I would put in my top 3. Okay, hold up. Oh god, I'm so sorry. But he exists and he is there. Right. We read this part last time where Ace is like, oh yeah, well, best of luck. And he leaves. But last time what we didn't have is Clover actually starting to talk to us because we didn't do the other room. Maybe I should have done room 7 sometime before. Okay, well, I'm just gonna read this out loud then. Junpei let out a sigh and brushed a few drops of sweat from his forehead. He turned and found himself looking straight into Clover's eyes. She'd heard what Ace had said. She regarded Junpei with caution. What was that about? She was clearly suspicious, and with good reason. Why are you looking at me like that? Junpei's eyes widened, and he held up his hands in a gesture of innocence. Oh, no, it's not like that. What is it like then? I just wanted to hear the rest of that story. I didn't get a chance to ask you about it until now. What story? About the experiment. Remember? The one you started to tell me in the operating room? You said something about an experiment that happened here 9 years ago. Clover bit her lip. She stared down at the floor for several long moments, and when she spoke, it was barely audible. I'm sorry, but I don't want to talk about that right now. I'm just not in the mood, okay? You understand, right? I keep thinking about my brother. I can't stop. I mean, who would do something like that to my brother? I can't forgive them. I'm not gonna let them get away with it. They're going to pay for it, I promise. So... Her shoulders were shaking. Drops of blood had sprung up on her lips where she was biting them. She wiped it off and looked up at Junpei, her eyes fierce and angry. Junpei, who do you think did it? Her voice was cold and scarcely above a whisper. Junpei gulped. Well, if what 7 said was right, then there would have to be at least 2 of them. You need at least 3 people to open the numbered doors, and if you subtract Snake, that means there were at least 2 other people. You're right. So what does that mean? Well, if we just look at the bracelet numbers, we should be able to figure it out. Who could have opened door 3 with Snake? Well, really, who and who, or who and who? You mean it could have been 4 people? Well, technically it's possible. I don't know, that doesn't seem very likely. Why? I'll tell you later. Why don't we just assume it was only 2 other people for now? Okay, got it. Let's do that then. Who do you think it could be? Junpei crossed his arms and thought. Snake's bracelet number was 2, which 2 bracelet numbers added to 2 will give a digital root of 3. It'll be Santa and 7. The digital root for Snake, Santa, and 7 is 3. Wait, hold on. Are Santa and 7 the killers? It's funny though. Snake, Santa, and 7. It's not the same in Japanese, obviously, but in English they all start with an S. The number 3 door. The shower room thingy. Clover looked at Junpei and he looked back at her. There was no point in hiding it.
少し考えてみたんだが
He told her his conclusions. She looked less surprised than he'd expected.
サンタとセブン、犯人が2人だったとしたら、この組み合わせ以外には考えられないし。
Thank you for the follow. Welcome in.
な、ちょっと待ってくれ。断定するのはまだ早いんじゃないか。
Ouchie, ouchie.
俺はただその二人だったら3の扉を開けると言っただけで、もしかしたら別の可能性も。
何？別の可能性って。
Oh, it's just I already have 3 mosquito bites. 2 on my hands, 1 on my arm. Well, the ones I found at least.
それは。
He didn't have an answer. He was ready to admit defeat when Clover spoke.
もしかして犯人は3人もしくは4人じゃないかってそう思ってる。
Yeah.
だとしたらさっきも言ったけど可能性は低いと思うよ。
どうして？
手帳とペン貸してもらえる？
Clover put a hand out expectantly.
ああ。
Junpei pulled out his pen and pad of paper and handed them to her. She opened the notebook and wrote down several simple addition problems. Eventually, she had 8, which provided the digital root of 3. Oh, that's crazy. Yes, okay. Okay, that's a lot of them.
犯人が3人もしくは4人だった場合の組み合わせ、この8通りしかありえないんだ。
The more people you add, though, the weirder it becomes, because it would be like, what do you mean? It's like half the cast that was involved in killing her brother? No, I just don't think that's very likely.
なるほど。
ところで順平。
ん？
私、順平のこと信じてもいいんだよね。
Well, I'd like for you to, but I'm not so sure if you are going to.
当たり前だろ。何言ってんだよ。
本当に。
ああ。
それじゃあこの式のうち B、D、G、H は消しても
いいに決まってるだろ。消してくれ。それからもちろん四つ葉の番号4が含まれてるやつもな。
そうすると残るのは
A と E だ。いや待て、 A はありえない。
どうして？
紫が含まれてるからだよ。あいつが犯人だなんてことは。
信用できる？
ああ、命をかけて保証してやるよ。
わかった。それじゃあ A も消えるよね。
Doesn't leave us with a lot of options, though, if you cross everyone off.
消えるな。
そうするとどうなる？
E だけが残るな。
これってどういうことか。
俺と四つ葉と紫、この3人以外の全員が共犯ってことになるな。
ありえると思う？
No.
4人が結託してるんだったらもっと大胆に仕掛けてきてもいいはずでしょ。私たち3人だけに犯行を隠す必要なんてないと思うんだよね。
まあ確かにそうかもな。
それに一宮とセブンがつるんでるんだとしたら、私と一緒にシャワー室に行った時にいくらでも始末のしようがあったはず。でも2人は何もしてこなかった。そんな素振りさえ見せなかった。
We do. Through what we've seen so far, we already know that Ace is the one who pushed him in there. We also know that it's not actually Snake, the body in there. But in-game, Clover and Junpei do not know this. Everyone in game right now thinks that the dead body there belongs to Snake, so Clover thinks her brother was killed in the shower room.
どうして？
Her voice was calm, but Junpei had only to look her in the eye to know it was a forced calm. There were tears forming at the corners of her eyes, and she was blinking furiously to keep them back. Perhaps by attempting an objective analysis of who might have killed her brother, she had been able to distance herself from the harsh reality of his death. The more she struggled to act unconcerned, the more Junpei felt his heart tighten.
なるほどな。とにかく今の話を聞いて分かったよ。3人もしくは4人が共犯だというのは確かに可能性が低そうだ。ってことはやっぱりサンタとセブンの線が濃厚か。
だと思う。
だが動機は何だろう。
There was a moment of
動
silence.
機は
He laid his hand gently on her shoulder. He was close, so close to the answer. When Ace chose the worst possible moment to return. He raised a knowing eyebrow and then spoke.
お邪魔だったかな。
なんだよ。
いや、ちょっと順平君に話があってね。来てもらえるかい。
He turned on his heel and walked back toward the warehouse.
言って。
うん。
Junpei looked over at Clover. He gave her a short nod, hoped that she would be willing to talk to him again later, and followed Ace. He's simply not allowed to find out what the hell she's trying to say. Ace looked at Junpei and smiled, perhaps more of a smirk than a smile.
実は一つ確かめておきたいことがあってね。
確かめておきたいこと？
ああ、ちょっといいかな？
With no warning, Ace slipped his hand into the pocket of Junpei's vest.
おい、何すんだよ。
ちょっと調べさせてもらうだけだよ。
Yeah, this is about him cheating his way through which room he wants.
おい、やめろって。
He reached for Ace's arm. But it was already too late. In the older man's hand was a piece of paper Junpei had rolled up and hidden in his pocket.
なるほどな、やっぱりか。君のポケットから出てきた2つの紙切れ。これ、すり替えたんだな。例の開票の時に。
Maybe.
まあ、私は別に構わないんだがね。こうして自分の希望するナンバリングドアに入れたわけだし。
じゃあどうして？
なに、ただの好奇心だよ。気を悪くしないでくれたまえ。
Ace smiled, gave Junpei a friendly pat on the shoulder, and then turned on his heel and left. It was a small defeat, but it was a defeat. Junpei had lost the upper hand, and he knew it. He could feel his stomach begin to tense. Right then. Okay. Steering wheel. This thing won't budge. Feels like there's something keeping it in place. Oh god. Do you remember how to get through this? No, an engine order. Oh my god. Not what I wanted to look at. This thing. I want to move this thing. Yeah, it has been a while since we were last in this room. Northwest. The good thing is... No! I didn't want to go that far. Let me try again. The good thing is I still have all of my stuff I wrote down from last time we were here, so we should be able to make it south. West. Southwest. Northwest. East. North. There we go. A handle. Up. Get a meeting done. Okay. Have fun. Thank you for coming by. Put this handle in there. There we go. Let's turn this thing to full. Half. Slow. Full. Half. That's slow. Stop. And then... Yep. And then turn the pocket watch to this time. Yo, Ace, like the sexual? We don't like this Ace very much, though. Oh, Tracy, I think you missed all of the big information dumping that happened last time, though. Like, we've actually done all of our endings now that we needed. So we can get to the true ending, and I feel like this time you still didn't see it. No! Really? Oh, and I haven't put them on YouTube yet. I am behind with the VODs. I'm behind on the YouTube VOD, so you could catch up on it. You know what? Maybe after this stream, I should do that. There we go. Almost a human neck. Oh. Found themselves in a small space. This should be the exact same text as before, though, right? Yeah. Okay. The next big thingy is in the captain quarter in the actual escape room again. Let's see. Give me this. Ah! You know what? I have a mouse. Give me this. That's the bed. Not what I wanted. Thank you. We know this one. And boom! It says 0. He turned to Clover, who was standing next to him. Clover nodded. It seemed that she cared about Little. Of course, Junpei could hardly blame her. Okay, no, wait, this is the same? Still? Papa.
じゃあこの
思うわけない私。
あだがそのことを抜きにしてもわからないかモニターに表示されたゼロの文字船長服
Zero like these
そ
games.
して手首のどう考え見てみてここになんてな
そうだね。
いや違うそうじゃないんだこれを仕組んだ人間のバカさなんて言えばいいんだろうこれは真犯人からの挑発なんだよだってそうだろもしも真犯人が本気まるで私はそんなことをしたら実際にってことは真犯人はなぜか
なぜ
さっきも言ったが残念でしたさあってな劇場型の愉快犯がよくやるような悪ふざけだ
I'm not sure anymore.
ひねくれてて子供っぽい
そう子供っぽい 幼稚なざれ言だ。だから、笑えるのさ。
I think this part might be new. Junpei bed down next to the corpse.
さて、それじゃ本題に入ろう。
She was she incooperative until she thinks that her brother's dead, right? Pretty much, though arguably she is still relatively cooperative on this specific path, even though we still think her brother is dead, because we stuck with her for most of the rooms, and she trusts us so far. Also, hi, welcome in. Thank you for the follow.
この男を殺したのは一体
Who
誰
killed this man is a good
さ
question.
あね。
だったらこの男自身は何者だ
知らないよ。知ってたら教えてるし。
ってことは心当たりも
あるわけないでしょ。
Junpei sat back on his haunches and thought.
一応所持品がないかどうか調べてみよう。四つ葉、手伝ってくれ。
え？
仰向けにするんだよ。そうしないとポケットの中が探れないだろ
Oh yeah, that's new though. I don't think you search him at the other time we were here. We definitely didn't. Didn't. Clover didn't move. Junpei had no choice but to move the body on his own. Yes. Touching a random dead person. He grabbed hold of an area not completely covered in blood and shoved. It took a moment, but eventually Junpei felt the man's bolt begin to shift. But just as it did, something fell on the man's left wrist.
これは
The bracelet was 0 on the face. Okay, yeah, we are aware. Junpei stared at the bracelet.
死んでるんだな。
Yes, what did you think he was?
いや、なんとなく改めて思ったっていうか、バングルが外れたってことはこの男が死んでることを示してるわけだよ。
そんなのバングルなんか見なくたって一目瞭然じゃない。
一目瞭然か。まあ確かにそうかもな。だけどほら、他の2体に比べればこの男の状態はマシな方だろ。
Why would you say that when we still think one of them was her brother?
だからそれでなんというか。
Oh man, he looks better than the other corpses we've seen. One of them being your brother. Christ almighty.
その意味で言えば不謹慎かもしれないが、この爆死なんてあまりにもひどすぎる。ニルスに至っては開放骨折まで起こしてたしな。おそらく爆発の衝撃を受けて壁かどこかに思い切り叩きつけられたんだろう。
My brother in Christ.
左腕から白い尺骨が飛び出していて。
The only reason I don't want to throw Junpei against the wall is because by him saying that out loud towards Clover, the part with the left arm is going to make her go, wait. What do you mean left arm? His left arm is not an actual arm. But aside from that, it's like, why would you reiterate the state you found her presumably, no, her dead presumably brother in? Suddenly Junpei realized what he was saying. How could he have been so cruel? He clapped his hands over his mouth. But it was already too late. He turned to look at Clover. She was glaring at him furiously.
ねえ、今なんて言った？
Her words sounded cold. He knew an apology could hardly atone for what he'd done, but he tried anyway.
すまん。悪かったよ。ニルスのことは言うべきじゃ。
違うの。そうじゃなくて、腕のことを聞いてるの。
腕？
そう、お兄ちゃんの左腕、見たんでしょ？
ああ、確かに。見たか。お前だって見たんじゃないのか。
見てないよ。見れるわけないでしょ。あの時は気が動転してて、そんなこと確かめる余裕なんてなかったもん。
Clover took a quick deep breath.
ねえ、それって本当に 左腕だった？
Junpei thought back.
ああ、間違いない。確かに。
それが開放骨折を起こしてたっていうの？いい
お前は一体何を。
から答えて、早く！
She shoved her face closer to his. He could see the fire in her eyes. Junpei winced and swallowed.
その通りだよ。肉を突き破るようにして白い骨が。
No sooner were the words out of his mouth than Clover's expression changed.
四つ葉どうした？もし何か気に障るようなことを言ってしまったなら。
Suddenly she was crying. Junpei wasn't sure what to
あ
do.
りがとう。
It was close to the last thing he had expected to hear. Eh? Eh? Owie.
あの
Junpei had no idea what had just happened. He didn't think he'd done anything worthy of thanks, and he couldn't understand why she would have chosen that moment to begin crying. So he simply stood there, confused.
ありがとう。順平。
You just made her realize that the ouch body in there is not her brother, so there's a chance that he's still alive. Congratulations, you saved yourself and everyone else from eternal doom at the hands of Clover going bonkers. He thanked him again, and then something even stranger happened. Clover threw herself into Junpei's surprised arms.
おい、どうしたんだよいきなり。
ごめん。嬉しくて。
何が？
あのシャワー室の死体、お兄ちゃんじゃなかったんだ。
え？
だからお兄ちゃんじゃなかったんだよ。
どうしてそうだと？
だって
She stopped herself.
ね、こういうの私の口から言うようなことじゃない。
Junpei decided it would be prudent not to press her for any more information. If she did not wish to tell him, she certainly had a reason for doing so. Perhaps more importantly, however, if Clover was so certain, then she was likely right. That meant that the body in the shower room wasn't snake. It wasn't much, but that knowledge lifted some of the weight from Junpei's heart.
お兄ちゃんはきっとどこかで生きてるんだ。そのことが私嬉しくて。
Tears shone in her eyes. Those tears melted Junpei's heart. As she cried, she had pushed herself up against his chest like a child. Junpei put his arms around her and held her tight.
よかった。順平の言った通りだったよ。いつでもどんな時でも希望を捨てちゃいけない。大切なのは信じること、そして愛することだ。
Ah?
この3つが揃った時、初めて幸運が訪れる。
Clover reached into her pocket and pulled something out.
それは。
It was a laminated bookmark with a 4-leaf clover.
私これがあったから頑張ってこれたんだ。
Granted, yes, it feels like it was only a little time ago, like a few minutes ago. But obviously that's because we skipped a bunch of text in between.
本当は絶望と不信と、でもこの四つ葉のクローバーがあったから、順平の言葉を聞いてたから。
Junpei hadn't thought his words would have had such an effect on her. Her words were making him feel a little awkward.
ありがとう順平。
No worries. She looked up at him. He scratched his nose and pretended to notice something interesting somewhere else in the room.
礼だったらサンタに言ってくれよ。
サンタにどうして？
その四つ葉のクローバー 実はサンタからもらったものなんだ。4つのリーフワードもサンタから教えてもらったもので。
Then suddenly, Clover broke away from Junpei.
Eh?
Eh? He looked confused. He hadn't thought she'd react that poorly. Clover began to pace across the room. Six steps to the left. 6 steps to the right.
And a full party of spooky and raiders. Hi, welcome in.
I'm new, like the color pink. Visual novels and JRPGs. We're currently playing Zero Escape 999.
Hello. How are you doing? How was Hollow Knight?
It's crazy. How far into Hollow Knight are you at this point? Like, every other time, I feel like if I scroll across any social media, or if I see you playing Hollow Knight, I'm like, damn, Spoopy is going off. 2 more endings? Hollow Knight has endings? Oh my god. Yeah, oh, nice. Congrats. It has 5 endings? What the hell? Oh my god. I've not gotten very far in Hollow Knight, and it's been months since I last tried. I've forgotten everything about it. Not that I ever really thought I would be able to make it through that game, because it's very out of my realm of games I'm comfortable with when it comes to the gameplay. But good for you then. Crazy. Well, I hope you had a fun stream. We are trying to get to the true ending in this lovely game. I say this and we're this far. We're grabbing all of our keys. We have pretty much everything we need, but I think what we don't have is going to be the time to actually finish it tonight. So that's fun. Not really. It's doable, only took 60 hours. Oh my god. I think I gave up on the last fight I ran into. Like, I tried like twice. I was like, oh my god, no. Absolutely not. I need to learn those patterns first. And then it's been months since I last tried, so. And then the 6 to the left. And then she stopped.
ねえ、それって本当にサンタから聞いたの？
You've never played it before! Whoa! Whoa! Do it. Right now. Never? Really? I feel like you might be one of the few people here in chat right now who has never played 999 before then. Or like experienced it in some way. I feel like we're only people here who already know what's going to happen. But it's still fun anyway. You get on it. Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Life I suppose. You get to playing 999 and I'll play a game of your choice that is not Hollow Knight because I've tried before. True! Okay, 2 people. 2 people. I guess you're 2 people of more extremes. One who only knows all of the bad endings that you need to get to actually grab all of the stuff you need for the true ending. And one who just has never played the game before. So that's crazy. It's not your type of game. Oh, because of the gore aspect, like the oh god, people are dying aspect. Because I took you for the type to do like a mystery, no? I'm looking to make you play. Eyes were serious but not angry.
なんか俺まずいこと言ったかな。
ううん、まずくない。むしろ私とお兄ちゃんにとっては朗報だと思う。
多分
多分。
サンタは四つ葉のクローバーのリーフワードを知ってた。知ってたってことは多分 仲間だと思うの。
仲間。
私やお兄ちゃんと同じで、9年前の実験の。
Finally, big information.
だけど、お兄ちゃんは目が見えないでしょ。それに私はネバダの実験棟の方のメンバーだったし、だから私もお兄ちゃんも船の方のメンバーの顔は知らなくて。
ちょっとタイムだ。
Time! Junpei held up his hands. He took a deep breath and let it out.
とにかく落ち着こう。な ?1 から順番に聞かせてくれ。100から始めるな。突然50に飛んだりしないでくれ。
Anyway, big info dump incoming. So, for anyone here who has no idea about 999, you might want to look away. Actually, because this is big spoiler territory. That was a topic easy to extremely done. Oh, I see. That's valid. That's understandable. I don't mind it at all in murder mysteries because it's like about clearing up the murders. So, well, I'm glad you join us for all of the death-heavy game. You've been to many of the games that were kind of heavy on all of the deaths happening. I'm glad you still decided to join for them. Genuinely, I mean that.
1からだ。1から順番に2、3、4、5と積み上げていこう。
I always fear I sound like I'm like making fun of someone when that is not the case. Mostly looking. That's so valid.
そうしないと何が何だかさっぱりわからないから。
I gotta play something more hopeful just for you. Just for you, I gotta do something more hopeful soon. You feel like you know Junpei's voice from somewhere? Have you played Final Fantasy 15? With Japanese voices, for example? Or have you watched Free? The swimming anime? Or yeah? Or Makoto, yeah, that's also him. Or, you know, you play 13 Sentinels with the English voice acting, so you wouldn't know, but he also does a guy in 13 Sentinels. Hi, Baba, good evening. Thank you for the resub. Do you play Final Fantasy 14 with Japanese or English voice acting? Because he is also Imeric in Final Fantasy 14, so you would have heard him in that. English as well, damn! Thank you for the bat. Ugh. Okay, well, if you play your games with English voice acting, then this is getting harder, but yeah. You might have definitely heard him in Free then. He obviously has done other voices, but I have his behind the voice actors page open, and that one mostly lists games for him. Very few shows. Donna made a connection for me. Yeah. I think the way he laughs in that one is very memorable. Too bad I don't like the guy anymore. You're like, yeah, okay, he has a good voice. He does great voice acting, but he also cheated on his wife, so fuck him. Hi, Sagi. Good evening. How are you? Welcome in. Clover nodded.
それじゃまずは実験のことについて聞こう。
Some big info dump coming our way. Last chance. For anyone who doesn't want to get spoiled, for anyone else who already knows what it's about, let's get it. Hi! I'm good. Life has been... but It's looking up. I have things planned, so hopefully that's gonna work out soon. How is you?
9年前、この船で何が行われたんだ？
携帯形成場仮説って知ってる？
携帯形成場。
He did, and the realization sent chills down Junpei's spine.
じゃあこう言ったら分かってもらえるかしら。テレパシーのメカニズムに関する仮説。
確かヤシロがそんなことを言っていた。
It will. It will. I will grab life by the collar and shake it until it gets better. You've been okay, I'm glad to hear that. Junpei recounted what Lotus had told him earlier. Clover nodded.
テレパシーか。ちょっと違うんだけど。まあ、似たようなもんかな。
そのテレパシーの実験がこの船で行われたのか？
そう。
具体的にはどんな風に？
今と同じだよ。今と全く同じことが行われたの。
同じって？
ノナリーゲームのこと。この船とネバダの実験棟でそれぞれ9人ずつに分かれて。
Junpei grabbed the sides of his head.
すまん。全く意味がわからないんだが、ノナリーゲームとテレパシーの実験、この2つにどんな関係があるっていうんだ？
Clover bit her lip. She blinked back sudden tears. What had happened to her in Nevada?
携帯形成場にアクセスする能力は2つの要素によって増強されるの。1つはひらめき、もう1つは危機。何か難問にぶつかった時、悩んで悩み抜いた末にふと何気なく解放が見つかる瞬間ってあるでしょ。要するにひらめき。そのひらめきによって得られた情報がテレパシーとしては一番伝わりやすいんだ。それに危機が加わるとさらに情報は伝わりやすくなるの。
もしかしてその危機を与えるためにノナリーゲームが使われたと？
うん。それもちょっとやそっとの危機じゃなくて。
It has to be life-threatening.
本当に死ぬか生きるかの瀬戸際のところまで追い詰められて。それで実際に一人亡くなっちゃったの。女の子が。
Junpei felt a sudden grip of despair on his heart. Something deep and distant and powerful squeezed, and for a moment he felt very, very empty and alone.
その子はお兄ちゃんと同じで船の方のチームにいて、でも私はさっきも言ったけどネバダの方にいたから。だから私はその子に会ったことはないんだけど。ただ名前だけは分かってて。その子の名前は。
The sound of the door opening was like a gunshot. Junpei spun around.
おっと、どうやらまたしても取り込み中だった。
I hate this fucking guy. Like, are you for real? This is the second time he's walked in on Clover actually giving us really big information. You think, oh yes, finally, we're finding stuff out. Boom, ace. Fuck you, dude. If I had a middle finger to show you right now, I would.
一味よ。
それにしても君たちの心臓は大したものだな。よくこんな部屋に長時間とどまっていられるね。
Ace glanced down at the floor. At a corpse covered in blood.
とにかく、純平君、そろそろこっちの方も手伝ってもらえないかな。捜索に行き詰まっててね、力を貸してほしいんだ。さあ、来てくれ。
With that, he turned and walked back toward the communications office. Clover waited until he was out of sight, then spoke in a small, quiet voice.
一宮に聞かれたくないの。話の続きはまた後で。
おい、ちょっと待てよ。
Clover ignored him. From outside, Junpei could hear Ace calling.
おい、純平君、何をしてるんだ、早くしてくれ。
Grumbling to himself, Junpei stomped off toward the communications office. Well, this means we have our first thingy unlocked. Oh boy, let's hope we can get the other one. Why is it the lower one that gets unlocked? Oh boy. Please. I should have done everything right. I hope. Oh god. A piece of paper. Let's see. A small screwdriver. Take this thing apart. Then the ink. Combine the ink with the cylinder, combine it with the paper. Now we have a Morse code. Put the Morse code. No. No. I want this thing. Okay, game. Short, short, short. Long, long. Short, 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 short. Long, short, short, short. Long, 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 short. Short. Ching! Open this. A red file. Is there anything? Okay, this is about the all eyes thing. Oh, strange characters.
ヒエログリ
古代エジプト。
そうだ。
読めるのか。
ああ、もう読めるわけ。
なんだよ。
Yep.
Oh.
And then
カードキー。
art.
裏の。
右下のところ。ボトムデッキライ。
どうやらその。
ボトムデッキ。
Oh yeah.
図書室。あ、
We've not made it to the bottom like library so far.
確か薬品庫でセブンが。
ギガントのへその
True,
下。
that's new.
知識の森を抜けた小部屋にアリスは眠っている。
もしかしてへその下ってのはボトムデッキのことで、知識の森ってのは図書室のことなのか。だとするとその図書室を通り抜けた先にアリスか。
どうしたんだね。何やら考え事をしているみたいだが。
Junpei blinked. Only then did he notice Ace looking at him, curiosity and concern written across his face in equal parts.
ああ、ちょっとな。気になることを思い出したんだ。
へえ、よかったら話してみてくれないか。
まあいいけど。
There was no reason for Junpei to hide his thoughts. He began to explain his theory to Ace. Then he stopped. It wouldn't make any sense if Ace didn't know who Alice was supposed to be. So he told Ace everything June had told him. Oh, they're gonna be here for a long time.
エジプトの王女のミイラにアイスナインか。なかなか興味深い話だね。
そのタイタニックの事故現場海域から回収された常温でも溶けない凍りついたままの少女はオールアイス、アリスと呼ばれていたらしい。それを買い取ったのがゴルダイン教というイギリスの大富豪らしいんだが、セブン曰くその大金持ちがこの船のどこかにアリスを隠したって話だ。
そしてその隠し場所がボトムデッキにある図書室の先の小部屋じゃないかと。
Why not?
まあただの推測ではあるけどな。
Ace stared off into the distance, his hand slowly and absentmindedly stroking his beard. After a few moments, his hand stopped. He turned slowly to look at Junpei and his brows drew together.
なあ、純平君。キャスレートという言葉聞いたことがないかね
No.
キャスレード
?CAS。セルズ・アライブ・システムの頭文字を取ったもので、要するに細胞を生かしたまま凍らせる技術のことだ。
The next guy who's going to infant up on us. Yeah!
通常、生鮮食品を凍らせると、細胞内の水分が膨張して細胞膜を傷つけてしまう。だが、キャスレートを使えばそうはならない。過冷却状態にしてから瞬時に凍らせるため、細胞膜を守ることができるんだ。もともとは冷凍保存によって食品の味が劣化してしまうのを防ぐために開発されたものだが、今では全く異なった別の分野での応用も始まっている。
別の分野って？
例えば医療とかあるいは宇宙開発とか。
Space travel.
宇宙開発？
コールドスリープって聞いたことがあるだろ？ SF ものの映画や小説なんかでしばしばガジェットとして用いられるものだ。長期間に及ぶ宇宙旅行を凍ったままの状態で過ごすという例のあれだよ。
That was when Junpei understood what Ace was suggesting.
ちょっと待ってくれ。
Ace looked at him and raised an eyebrow.
もしかしてお前、アリスがそのキャスレートとかいうやつで。
可能性は極めて低いが考えられないこともないだろう。アイスナインという特殊な氷が本当に存在するとして、さらにその氷が過冷却状態から一気に凍りついたものだったとしたら、
アリスが生きてるっていうのか？
断言はできない。私はただ可能性のうちの一つとして言っているだけだよ。アイスナインの融点は36度なんだろ？だとしたら、その温度を超えるようなところに彼女が保管されていたとすれば。
そんなバカな、自然に溶けて動き出したとでも言うのか？
バカなことを言っているというのは十分承知しているさ。だがね、そう考えれば隣の部屋に横たわっている男の件を説明できるんだよ。
あの船長服を着た男のことか？
ああ、そうだ。奴は死んでいた。殺されたことは明らかだ。では奴を殺したのは一体誰なのか。我々7人の中には存在しない。犯行が不可能だからだ。船長室へと入るにはまず1の扉を開かなければならない。その1の扉へと至る通路は地球の鍵穴があるドアによって塞がれていた。その鍵を開けたのは誰だったかな？
サンタとヤシロだ。
そのようだな。だがその2人だけでは1の扉は開けない。ならばその後はどうだろう。誰が1の扉を開けた者は？
Junpei thought for a
い
second.
ないな。サンタとヤシロは地球の鍵を使ってドアを開けた後、そして大病室で1、2、7、4つ葉と再会。
They forget periods sometimes at the end of the sentence as well. I try to block out
俺たち4人がシャワー室に
the typos in the script. It's fine as long as I understand what they're saying.
だがその3人では1の扉を開くことはできない。
Hi, good evening. How are you? Life has been a journey, and I'm trying to steer it back on its proper path. That's how I've been. How are you?
それなら俺と紫がエレベーターに乗り込み2の扉を調べに行った時はやはり無理だ。その時間はほんの5分程度で、とてもじゃないが誰かが船長室に行って戻って
You know, that feels way out there. I want to stream again more often. I don't like how it's already the end of April, because I wanted to make 2025 the year where I actually get properly back to it, but maybe we'll just do it with a slightly delayed start. I'm trying. I have things planned and I'm hoping to actually get them to work.
ということは我々7人の中に犯人はいないことになる。だとしたらあの男を殺したのは一体誰なんだ。遥か昔からこの船に隠れ潜んでいた人物と考えれば説明がつくんじゃないかね。
You think a mummy that might have been frosting, like just defrosted, just starts going around killing people? Yeah, no, I'm not so sure about that, Mr. I kill people for fun. If they might remember who I am.
そいつは船内の構造について熟知していた。排気ダクトやそれと
I don't trust anything that comes out of this guy's mouth.
も全て知っていた。もしもそうだとすると、そいつにとってはナンバリングドアなんてものは何の意味もなさ
So
ない
don't
こと
worry,
になる。
you guys won't get rid of me that easily. Maybe a tummy ache? I don't care. This man, I do not care. Not even as also a tummy ache haver? No, no. Not for this guy. No empathy.
たやすいことだっただろう。
それがアリスだっていうのか。
It was Junpei's turn to raise an eyebrow. Ace drew his thumb across his lips thoughtfully.
あくまでも可能性のうちの一つとして。
You meant the captain? Oh. Very explosive tummy ache that killed the captain. Maybe. It's a possible theory.
アリスは本当にこの船のどこかにいるのか。
Very violent tummy ache. Junpei had only one clue. The keycard in his hand.
このカードキーを使えば知識の森に踏み込むことができる。だがその先は知識の森を抜けた先には一体何があるっていうんだ。まあいずれにせよこの場でどうにかなるような問題じゃないな。今考えるのはやめておこう。
He gripped the keycard tighter and shoved it deep into his pocket. There we go. Now give me this funny unique key. And... wrong door. Wrong. Yeah, thank you. Wrong door. And let's get out of here. Right. 5, 1, 4, 2, 7, 2, 4. Eat. Eat. It worked. Good job, Junpei. Thank you, thank you. You've unlocked it. Good work, Junpei. Alright, let's go. Eat. Would you look at that? We have unlocked. It's a big log. Let me save, actually, while we're here. Let's make a save. No, I don't want to return to the title screen. I want to get out of here. Ja-jang.
You found it!
We're not finishing this game tonight, by the way. There is way more stuff left here than you might think. But we did it! I stepped out of the captain's quarters and into another hallway. And this time... Oh, this is not the... Well, what we're going for is the true ending, but we're not there yet. The hallway stretched out in front of Junpei for a bit before turning left like a great backward L.
行くか。
Junpei rounded the corner and took off down there straight away. He ran, and ran, and ran. At the end of the hallway was a door.
次はあのドアか。
He made straight for it.
張り紙。
He was nearly halfway to it when he noticed a piece of paper in the middle of the floor. Junpei skidded to a halt.
これは
He dropped down on his hands and knees and then quickly tore the paper off of the floor.
A デッキの船内マップだ。
どうした？
Ace, slightly slower by virtue of his advanced age, had finally caught up to Junpei. Oh yeah, they have his name written wrong so many times.
ああ、どうやら船内のマップらしい。
He showed Ace what he snatched from the wall. He looked at it long enough to determine what it was and nodded.
なるほどな。
With that, he began running again, past Junpei.
反応薄いな。これは取っておくとして。
Junpei shoved the map into his pocket and got up to follow Ace. But something stopped him.
俺、
Okay, and here should be the difference between, you know, Clover has grabbed an axe and is going to kill absolutely everyone, so let's see. He turned around. Clover was nowhere to be seen.
たく何やってんだあのガキンチョは。
Junpei muttered angrily under his breath and took off back the way he'd come. As he stomped around the corner, he saw her. She was standing in front of the door to the captain's quarters, her hand on the doorknob.
四つ葉
As Junpei watched, she closed it gently and quietly. Hi, Raiders, welcome in! Good evening! I'm new. I like the cool pink vision of Interpreters. We're currently playing Zero Escape 919. Ooh, you were playing 100 Line? Let's go! I am doing fine, how are you? How far into 100 Line are you? I hear that game has crazy content, like so much stuff happening.
何やってたんだよ。
別に。
別にって。
Clover had unconsciously put her hands over the pockets of her jacket as if trying to hide something.
なんだよそれ。
何が？
ポケットの中。何か入ってるだろ。
ああ。これは。メモ。
Oh!
メモ？
うん。船長服を着た男のポケットから見
That's
つけた
different.
の。
Okay, that is different than when she tries to kill us all with an axe. Oh, you're day 36. Nice. We are on our way to the true ending. We have done all of the others. We don't have the time to finish the full game because that's quite a lot of stuff there, but we're almost to the point. You know, we're gonna play up to this point. I think I can do that still to where it usually should cut you off. But we've unlocked everything already, so we're gonna get there.
ユンデの闇がなんたらかんたらって書いてあって。
なんだよそれ。見せてみろよ。
いや、今は。
But Junpei wasn't going to get to see it. From the other end of the hall, he heard Ace's voice.
おい、純平君、四つ葉、何をしてる？早く来い。
怒られちゃった。
Clover
と
shrugged.
にかく、後で見せてあげるよ。さ、いいから早く。
Before Junpei could protest, she was gone. Around the corner and off down the long stem of the L. A note. A note. Junpei was curious, but there was something else that bothered him.
あのポケットの膨らみ。どう見てもメモだけじゃないよな。たく、何考えてんだか。ああ、もう。
Junpei did his best to convince himself that it would make sense later and ran off after Clover. Let's see. Junpei pushed to the door and found himself in a large room with a large set of
大
stairs.
階段。やっぱりここに出たか。地図にあった通りだな。
It was just what he expected to see after reading the map. His I see after reading the map himself meant that Ace had probably realized the same thing.
一宮はこの下か？
He put his hand on the handrail and leaned over to look down.
あ、いたな。
見て、他の4人もいるよ。
And not just Ace. Santa, June, Seven, and Lotus as well.
マジか。
行こ
Junpei and Clover glanced at each other and hurried down the stairs. They reached B deck at the same time.
う。ペイ君、四つ葉ちゃん。
June's face was excited. Something had happened, that much Junpei could tell by simply looking at her.
どうしたんだ？
Given the situation, he was not inclined to be excited about sudden developments. June, however, couldn't contain herself.
何
何
indoors.
が？だから何が？
最後の扉が、9の扉が見つかったんです。
なんだって？
とにかく行こう。ついてきてくれ。事情は道すがら説明してやる。
ああ。
Seven turned and jogged off down toward the stairs. Down the stairs.
そういうことだ。
Blah,
お
blah.
先。
では私たちも行こうか。
The rest
純
followed.
平君、いよいよですね。
The relief and excitement in her voice echoed what each one of them felt.
そうだな。
Junpei wasn't quite ready to believe they'd really done it, at least not just yet. Still, if everyone said that it was door 9, then it probably was.
ついに来たか。
We've reached the end! Oh, huh. Ah. He could feel his heart racing. A mixture of anticipation and fear ran through his veins, and he could feel his legs shaking. He was doing his best to maintain a sense of healthy skepticism, but he couldn't deny that the prospect of escape was an exciting one.
ナンバリングドアの先へ進めるのは3人から5人まで。今行動を共にしているのは7人だから、少なくとも2人はあぶれることになる。2人か。何かいい方法があればいいんだが。
Junpei looked over at the clock.
4時30分。タイムリミットまで。あと90分か。ゆっくり考えている暇はないな。
おい、順平、紫、何やってんだ、早く来い。
Hey, God! Santa's voice jolted Junpei out of his reverie.
行きましょう、純平君。
Yeah, let's get to it. June took off down the stairs, jogging as quickly as she could.
ああ。
Junpei followed. I mean, technically, the whole going down there should be almost the same as what we've seen so far, but I'm not sure. As a group, they piled into the elevator and rode impatiently down to E-Deck. It looked familiar. Hi, TK! Good evening! There was a metal grate between the two elevators. Seven grabbed hold of it and began to talk.
さっき事情を説明してやるって言ったが、別に大したことじゃねえんだ。お前ら3人と別れた後、俺たち4人は左側のエレベーターに乗り込み、この鉄格子の向こう側へと降り立った。そしてそこから直線通路へ、選手の方に向かってまっすぐ進むと、突き当たりには順平と紫が発見したっていう。俺たち4人はその扉を開いて先へと進んだ。そこには例によって例のごとくパズルの散りばめられた空間が2つあった。それらの謎を解いて、そこにはさっきとは逆方向、船尾の方に向かってまっすぐ伸びた直線通路が横たわっていた。
で、その途中にこのエレベーター乗り場があったと。
そうだ。
つまりぐるっと一周回って向こう側からこっち側へたどり着いたってわけだな。
ああ。
With that settled, Junpei looked
と
around.
ころで肝心の9の扉が見当たらないが。
案内してやる。ついてこい。
Seven began walking down the hallway that led toward the stern. Junpei and the others broke into a jog to keep up with him.
そういえば、
They had been walking for a while. June in silence sat with Junpei when she spoke.
今こうしていられるのってサンタさんのおかげなんですよ。
Oh?
こうしていられる。
7人が全員揃って9の扉を目指しているこのわからないですか？サンタさん、セブンさん、ヤシロさん、この3人の数字根を計算してみてください。
9だ。
Ah.
そうです。3人は私たちを置いて先に進むことだってできたんですよ。
でもそれをしなかった。
サンタさんが反対してくれたから 紫や他の3人を置き去りになんてできない。それで順平くんたち3人を連れてこようって話になったんです。
Oh, that's nice.
で、さっきの右側のエレベーターに乗って大階段エリアに戻ってきた。
そうです。
それにしても意外だな。あのサンタが反対したとは。
Junpei felt his eyebrows knit as he considered that.
でも誤解しないでくださいね。
Perhaps June had sensed Junpei's
だ
concern.
からといってセブンさんやヤシロさんが私たちを置いてけぼりにしようとしたってわけじゃないですから。軽くそういう話が出た時に先頭を切って反対してくれたのがサンタさんだったっていうだけで。
Santa was the first to object to the whole leaving anyone behind. You know what I just realized? Sorry, give me a second. Why are there... Oh, it's because of the game! Why the fuck? I was like, why are there black bars on the side here? But that's literally because of the game. It's not even on my end. Well, more like it's not my fault. But the game's fault. No, no worries. But yeah, it was her. It was her, having forgotten to close Balatro, so when she turned on the screen of the Steam Deck, it would immediately be like, oh, Balatro's still running. Phew! So we cleared that one up. Don't worry. We cleared that one up at least. Junpei was about to respond when Seven suddenly stopped. In front of them stood a door. Junpei could see Seven's face, but he could see him nod.
他に進めそうなところは？
ない。ご覧の通りだよ。この長い直線通路の先には分厚い鉄の壁。左手には船の左舷と右舷を結ぶ横断路があるが、そこにもエレベーターホールと同じように鉄格子がはめられている。
なるほど。
It looked as though Seven was right. The door in front of them was their only choice.
さあ、上がったらさっさと行くぞ。
He pulled open the door and walked in. Junpei took a deep breath and followed. It appeared they'd been telling the truth. The first thing Junpei saw as he entered the room was the number 9. Like all the others, it was a rough thing made of red paint. The door decorated sat on the back wall of a rectangular room. Junpei ran up to it. It was a large double door with powerful styling. Something about it was almost majestic, and it made the red paint look especially garish. Junpei grabbed the handle and shook. It didn't budge, but then he hadn't really expected it to. The red was bolted to the wall next to the door. Its display read vacant.
こいつが9のナンバリングドアだ。いよいよだ。これが最後の。
Junpei felt a flood of emotion wash over him. He felt a chill down his back and his chest tightened even as his blood began to boil. There was a moment of complete silence.
後ろを見ろ。
He turned around.
後ろ？
Junpei could scarcely believe what he saw.
なんて9の扉がもう一枚あるんだ。おい、どういうことだよこれ。
His words came slowly and his brain struggled to understand what he'd seen. On shaky legs, he made his way to the second 9. There was a small door set parallel to the door they'd come through, but in the other corner of the room. 9. There was no mistaking the number, and if any more proof was needed, a red was bolted to the wall near the door.
レッドがあるってことは当然開かない。
He grabbed the handle and shook the door, not because he expected it to open, but because he had to make sure it was real.
でもなんで
To be fair, in his defense, I think it's a good idea to shake all of the doors to try them. Because remember on the submarine ending, where they're always like, "Oh my god, we have nowhere to go. Or we finally have a key," but when they try to use it, it doesn't work because the door was already open. You should try. Even if you don't expect it to open, you should try. It's always a good idea.
なんで9の扉が2枚もあるんだ
It was Ace who spoke first.
どちらかが当たりどちらかが外れ、そういうことなんじゃないか。
Lotus was skeptical.
どうかしら。私は違うと思うけど。
どうしてだね。
これまで通り抜けてきた数々の部屋。謎はいくつも散りばめられてたけど、そこには必ずヒントが隠されてたわ。少なくとも勘で正解を当てるなんて仕掛けはどこにもなかった。それが最後の最後に来て運任せなんてことゼロがしてくると思う？
だったらこの部屋のどこかにヒントが。
いえ、それはないと思います。さっき一通り探してみたんです。だけどそれらしきものはどこにも。
There's a giant coffin in this room, girly pop. I'm sorry, but you don't think that's suspicious?
ああ、そうか。ということは。
ああ、どっちの9も正解ってことだろう。
Sufamplek.
そもそもゼロは9の扉は1枚しかないなんてことは一言も言ってないんだからな。
He only said to seek a door that carries a 9.
Also, thank you for the follow. Welcome in. Enjoy your stay. I don't know why I said that with a weird Italian accent.
Accident? Yeah, accident. That was an accident for sure. Welcome.
脱出するための出口は船内のどこかに隠されている。探したまえ。9と書かれた扉がそれだ。
Junpei began to mutter to himself.
9の扉は2枚あったのか。だったら3人と4人に分かれれば。
無理だよ。
Junpei blinked and looked up at Clover. She held out her
順
hand.
平、手帳とペン持ってたよね。貸してもらえる？
ああ、ほら。
Slightly confused, he pulled them out and handed them to her. Oh, what a squeaky pen.
見て、これ。
Clover opened the notebook to a blank page and set it down on the desk. Everyone else gathered around her and watched as she wrote down a series of numbers.
わかった？上段は数字根が9になる組み合わせ。下段はそれ以外の人たち。考えられる組み合わせはこの8通りしかないの。だから
3人で9の扉に入れば4人が取り残される。4人でこの先に進めば3人が置き去りに。
Clover nodded almost as if she were pleased with herself for solving a difficult math problem.
そんな。
The room went very quiet. Silence lay across everyone like a thick, heavy blanket. No one spoke. The faces were blank.
そういえば
Desperate for something else to look at, Junpei turned his eyes to the room around
こ
him.
こは一体どこなんだ
The walls were covered with candles. The wavering flame made the shadows of Junpei and his companions look as though they were dancing. 2 rows of wooden pews filled most of the room.
まるで何かの式場みたいだ。でも一体何の
Between them was a strip of rich red carpet. The carpet ran straight through the room, ending at the door that pointed to the stern of the boat. And the other end of the carpet.
祭壇なのか
No, is it? Good evening! It was a recessed space set into the wall between the 2 other doors. Sitting on a raised section of the altar was a coffin. Coffin? Coffin. A coffin?
次
So many coffins in this game.
まさかな
But if it wasn't, then whose body occupied it? That was as far as Junpei wanted to pursue that line of thought. He decided not to think about the coffin for the time being. At that moment, Seven spoke. There was an edge of humor to his voice, but it was forced.
わかったよ、降参だ、降参。待ってりゃ誰かが突っ込んでくれるんじゃねえかと思って黙ってたんだが、どうやらそんな度胸のあるやつはいねえみてえだな。
Thank you for the pet and the hide time.
She stole someone our inventory. Yeah, that was about the crayfish, no?
どういうことだよ。
Junpei didn't understand, and he wasn't the only one.
あ？もしかしてお前ら気づいてなかったのか？ったくしょうがねえな。それじゃあ教えてやるよ。さっきの四つ葉の説明にはな、ちょっとした抜けがあったんだよ。間違いってわけじゃねえんだが。
Can't send the same message twice. We'll try again. Maybe the third time is the winner.
ああ、めんどくせえ。とにかくこれを見ろ。
Seven snatched up the notebook and began to write in it. Everyone else clustered around him, desperate for a look.
A muffin.
3人と4人で分かれるって条件付きなら、確かに四つ葉の言ったことは正しい。だがな、それ以外にも方法はあるんだよ。たった一つだけ。
You put new in our inventory? You can try. Little pocket new.
3人と3人と1人で分かれる場合、それがここに書いた組み合わせだ。
そんな、お前まさか。
勘違いすんなよ。俺は何も一宮のジジイの真似をしようってんじゃねえんだ。大病室での一宮の件、あれがなかったとしても、俺は同じことを言ってただろ
同じこと？
う。ああ、だからそういうことよ。俺が一人でここに残る。
何カッコつけてんのよ。あんたバカじゃないの？
Lotus was the first to speak. That in itself was a little strange. She reacted much differently when Ace had volunteered.
私は絶対に反対だからね。あんたなんかに借りを作ってまで生き延びたくないし。
The rest of them began to speak all at once.
私も反対です。一宮さんの時と同じこと言わせないでください。
私も同じ。その提案は飲めないよ。
私も同意しかねるな。英雄の役を奪われたのではたまらないからね。
Oh, shut the fuck up. Finally, they quieted down. Junpei looked at
と
Seven.
いうわけだ、セブン。その意見は却下だ。四つ葉が言った通り、他の方法を考えよう。
Seven made some noise that was somewhere between a derisive snort and a cough.
どいつもこいつも。
He was doing his best to pretend they were making a foolish decision, but Junpei could see the twinkling of wonder at the corners of Seven's eyes. That was when Santa spoke.
な、待てよ。俺はまだ何も言ってないぜ。
Until then, Junpei hadn't realized that Santa had stayed quiet for the whole discussion of Seven's fate. Something in his voice made Junpei uncomfortable.
まさか、賛成なのか、セブンの提案に。
Santa shook his
い
head.
や、反対だね。セブン一人を置き去りにするわけにはいかねえ。
だったら別に。
一人を。一人を置き去りにするわけにはいかねえ。
There was a dull shine in Santa's eyes. They were cold and hard. Junpei felt himself shiver.
お前、何を。
わからねえのか。一人じゃダメなんだよ。あと二人必要なんだ。セブンを加えて三人を置き去りにする。それが俺からの提案。いや、命令だ。
命令って。勝手に決めんじゃねえよ。誰がお前なんかの命令に従うかよ。
従うさ。あと3秒も経てば従わざるを得なくなる。
なんだと。
3、2、1。
Santa was so fast, Junpei could barely see him. When he moved, it was almost like watching a dance. His feet moving like lightning. He spun and... He hit June.
な、言った通りになっただろ。
His lips curled into a cruel, mocking smile. A shudder traveled the length of Junpei's spine. His chest froze and he could feel his breath go stale in his lungs. Nothing made sense. Junpei felt as though his head were about to explode. Santa suddenly changed in attitude, saying that he needed 2 more. The gun in his right hand, a revolver. Santa had grabbed June from behind and pressed what Junpei's shaking brain identified as a revolver roughly against her temple. Where on earth had Santa possibly found a gun? Junpei's questions roared in his mind, but his mouth refused to ask them. Seven spoke, almost as though he had sensed Junpei's confusion. I guess he was a white Santa all along. A mixture of fury and frustration twisted Seven's face, and he glared at Santa. Santa, for his part, didn't so much as flinch. The corner of his lip twitched into a slightly wider smile. Then the smile faded, and he began to move. He walked backward, dragging June with him. Before long, his back was resting against the door. On the wall next to him was the red. He put his hand on the scanner panel, quickly, and then forced June to do the same.
さてと、それじゃ命令に従ってもらおうか。一宮、八代、喜べ。選ばれたのはお前ら2人だ。さあ、認証を。
That was what Santa had meant when he said he needed 2 more.
聞こえなかったのか。
Santa's eyes narrowed to slits. He glared at Ace and Lotus. They stayed frozen like deer caught in the headlights of an oncoming car.
そうか。仕方ねえな。弾を無駄にしたくはなかったんだが。
No sooner were the words out of Santa's mouth than his hand twitched. And the gun roared. A section of the floor exploded, scattering wooden splinters across the floor. A thin plume of smoke snaked out of the hole in the floor. There could be no doubt that the gun was real and worked.
どうして？なんでサンタが
Clover's voice spoke of betrayal and disbelief.
サンタは私たちの仲間だったはずで。
あ？
クローバーのリーフワード知ってたんでしょ？
Santa's cheek twitched almost imperceptibly.
何のことだ？さっぱりわからねえ。
そんなはず。
うるせえ！ガタガタ言ってんじゃねえよこのクソガキが！てめえのクソみたいな脳みそをクソみたいにぶちまけてやろうか？
Flecks of spit flew from Santa's mouth, his face twisted with rage. Clover recoiled, her eyes wide. When she spoke, her voice was very small. He snorted and shook his head vigorously and turned to face Ace and Lotus.
ほら何やってんだよ、じじいばば。さっさとこっちに来て認証しろや。それともあれか？猛録して耳が遠くなってんのか？あ
Ace and Lotus still didn't move. It almost seemed as if they couldn't move. June's face was pale behind Santa's arm. Her eyes were wild and her chest heaved with every quick breath like an animal cornered by a predator. Junpei's mind worked furiously. What were they going to do? Then he realized something. There was nothing they needed to do. There was nothing to debate. June's safety was the first priority. That much was obvious. Doing as Santa had commanded meant that she would be safe from at least 2 threats. She wouldn't be shot, and she would leave the ship alive along with Santa, Ace, and Lotus. There was only one thing for Junpei to do. He turned to Ace and Lotus.
言ってやってくれ。
え？
そんな。
純平が何言ってるんですか？ここに取り残されたら純平くん。純平くんだけじゃなくて、四つ葉ちゃんもセブンさんだって。
分かってる。だが、俺たちのことなら心配するな。なあ、セブン。
どうよ、任しとけ。 サンタの野郎の言いなりになるのはヘドが出るぐらいムカつくけどな。
私のことも心配しなくて平気だから、まだやらなきゃいけないことが残ってるし。そんな、ダメです。ダメ。一宮さん、ヤチロさん、来ないで。私のことなんか構わないで。お願い。
June was almost crying. Junpei walked around behind Ace and Lotus. He gently placed a hand on each of their shoulders and pushed them toward the door. They almost stumbled, then righted themselves and took another step, and another. They turned around and Junpei nodded. Ace and Lotus turned around again and walked slowly towards the door where Santa was waiting for them. After what seemed like an eternity, they stopped in front of the door marked 9. Santa smiled.
さあ、スキャナーパネルに手のひらを。おいおい、この後に及んで何をためらう必要がある。俺は本気だぜ。この女を殺したって別に構わねえんだ。レッドは生体認証を使ってるわけじゃねえからな。バングルさえありゃ十分なんだよ。さ、分かったら認証を。これで最後だ。次はないと思え。
He shoved the revolver harder against June's head and she winced. They sighed, defeated, and placed his hand on the scanner panel. Lotus went next. Lotus glared at Santa and slammed her hand onto the scanner panel. The fourth asterisk blinked on. Asterisk.
それじゃあヤシロ、レバーを下ろしてくれ。扉が開いたらすぐに飛び込むんだ。妙な真似はするなよ。分かってるな。
Junpei could almost hear Lotus' teeth grind. The door slid open. Door number 9 opened at last. It opened with a low, powerful rumble, a drum roll to welcome the chosen few. Lotus and Ace walked through the door, their eyes furious but defeated. Santa waited until they were all the way inside, then hauled himself and June across the threshold as well.
Jana.
After exactly 9 seconds, the door swung shut. The gust of air it created caused the candles on the altar to flicker and die. Yeah, if they... All who authenticate must also authenticate on either sides, and if you go in there without actually having authenticated, it also starts detonating. That the bomb starts going on, So if you don't want to go boom, you should not go in there. The room fell silent. Junpei, Clover, and 7 had been left behind. Yes. Clover looked down at her hand and traced with her finger the faint blue veins that crisscrossed them. 7 shoved his arms into the front of his overalls and scratched his stomach. No one spoke. Silence made the air feel thick and oppressive. Desperate for something, anything, to occupy his mind, Junpei walked to the larger of the 2 number 9 doors. He stood in front of it and looked at the red. The red engaged. He moved to the smaller door. The red vacant. The digital root of the remaining people was 7. 5 plus 4 plus 7 is 16. 1 plus 6 is 7. There was no possible way for them to open a door with a 9 on it. Junpei touched the surface of the door. Interesting, right? I wonder what number they're missing. Right? He thought about June, about Akane Kurishiki. Was she safe? That was all that mattered to him. If she was alive, if she had escaped this horrible boat. That was what Junpei prayed for. 7 came up next to him. He pulled off his hat, scratched his head, and sighed.
どうするよ、純平。
どうするも何も。
7 opened his mouth to respond when... A noise echoed through the room. Someone was pounding on something vigorously. It wasn't mechanical. It was certainly human. Junpei and Seven looked at one another.
何の音だ
黙って。
Clover motioned to Seven to be quiet. She put one finger to her lips and closed her eyes in concentration. Three of them listened, trying to determine where the sound was coming from.
どこから聞こえてくる？まさか。
おい、この棺の中から聞こえてくるみたいだぜ。
わかってる。
開けてみよ
う。開けるって
その筋肉は見せかけ？
力ずくでこじ開けろってのか？
いいからとにかく試してみよう。
Junpei and Seven grabbed hold of the coffin. They tried to get a good grip with what little purchase they could find and pulled with all their strength. The bigger your caps are, the more strength you have. Clearly.
くそ。ダメだ。びくともしないぜ。
There was some sort of keypad attached to the coffin. Its purpose would not have been difficult to determine. Their eyes were almost immediately drawn to it.
やっぱこいつか。
みたいだな。
暗証番号を入力しないと開かない。そういうこと？
だと思う。
The noise wasn't stopping. In fact, it was getting louder.
中に誰がいるのかわからないが、とにかく早く出してやらないと。
って言っても、どうすりゃいいんだが。
暗証番号がわからない限り、どうしようもないか。
They couldn't even tell how many numbers the passcode needed to be.
どこかにヒントがあるんじゃないの？
探してみよう。
Unfortunately, there didn't seem to be anything near the coffin. Clover ran to examine the pews and Seven investigated the desk, but they turned up nothing.
ない。ね。
そう簡単にはいかないが。
It is not 01234567889. It would be funny as hell, but it is not. The sound still wouldn't stop. It wasn't a noise that belonged in that room.
何番なんだ。どうすればいい？どうすればわかる？この番号を知るためには一体どうすれば？
The world blinked. Suddenly there was a voice inside of Junpei's head. Truth had gone, and truth had gone. Ah, now truth is asleep in the darkness of the sinister hand.
なんだ今の声は。
Junpei was utterly and completely baffled.
なんだ？
どうしたの？
Seven and Clover ran over to him, but Junpei didn't know what to tell them. If he told them he'd heard a voice, they'd laugh, or worse, think he was going insane. So all he said was...
なんでもない。
He cleared his throat a little too loud and looked pointedly down at his bracelet. There were a pair of small buttons protruding from either side of it. Junpei... He pressed the buttons! He pressed the buttons? No, he didn't press any buttons. Oh, I'm not allowed to look at the flowchart right now. Okay, he did press the buttons then. Sorry. That was it. Eight numbers blinked on and then off on the bracelet display. Junpei checked one last time. 1, 4, 3, 8, 3, 4, 2, 1.
143834121。
Huh?
Yeah, I do wonder what option is the right one.
なんだよ今の数字は。
もしかして、それって。
Junpei didn't answer. He simply walked straight to the coffin. He knelt down in front of the keypad, running over the numbers in his head so that he wouldn't forget.
143834121。
With trembling fingers, he punched them in. That was all of them. He punched the E button. There was a moment of complete silence. Then there was the sound of the coffin lid unlatching. Someone said about of it. Oh my goodness, would you look at that? Yeah. So this before the whole, oh, he hears a voice in his head. This is exactly where the game would have cut you off for the coffin ending, because you don't have that. You don't have this information. I won't be able to stream tomorrow, but I'm hoping for Wednesday, so Wednesday we should be able to grab the remainder of the game. But you know, for anyone who does want to play at some point, you can immediately start collecting all of these keys and go for all the way on the left, right? But as long as you do not have this key over here, you will not be able to continue here. So this is definitely one of the games where you cannot. Oh, I already know the stuff. No, if your game character in game hasn't found out, he doesn't. He doesn't actually know. He won't be able to go there. This works out for you? That's nice. It also works out great for me because it is already after midnight. And I am deeply tired. But we did get the coffin ending. Which means next time we can actually get the proper ending, the true ending. We will be able to finish this game. Mark my words. Hell yeah, brother. I love these games though. Thank you for the pet. Now let's see though, it is Monday. I so rarely stream on Mondays. Ooh. Oh hell yeah. I think the last time I rated Neuro was like a really no, don't do that. Really long time ago. So let's take this chance. Playing Tales of Xillia 2. I know nothing about Tales, but that is okay. But yeah, thank you guys for coming. I hope to finish the game on Wednesday. Tomorrow I have a job interview, so please think of me, wish me luck. I am deeply and darkly scared. That doesn't make sense. That's not a proper English sentence, but yeah. I don't know. I'm gonna do that. Hopefully. But here's the raid message. Thank you so much for coming by tonight. I hope to see you guys soon to finish this game. Not than that, just not literally, please. I will try. Thank you. Thank you. Have a good night, everyone. I'll see y'all soon. Good night. And bye-bye. Bye-bye.